with TFC. I have to set up again, and then we can go on. If we're coming by, have to set up, and then we will go. Yeah. Update you. Put you down there. Do it later. And then we need. I have to set up, so give me a minute to set up, and then we can go. There we go. We got my iPad. So yeah, we're ready. We're ready to play. If you guys have any comments, let me know, and we will surely do that. We are game playing. I think we have everyone game. We have everyone playing. But yeah, I'm happy. Oh, logo. I did do a funny queer mode, but we're not doing that one. We're doing the TFD. So yeah, we will do a funny one after. We will probably do a funny queer mode after this TFC game is done. But right now we have to set it up. We have a press meeting. I will do that one really quickly. And yeah.
Okay, thanks for waiting. We can make a start now.
They're talking about our good store here in the improvement. Facebook now. TF3 is in a good shape. Do some E, some there we go.
And that's all we have time for today. Thank you.
And boom. There we go. I'm all ready to play this game. Now we are okay, so yeah. Our gameplay is awesome. We have a really good striker now because of him. Because that guy made us sign him, and I like him. He's gonna be really good. Now I don't know where I want to play him, but I do like our defense now. Our mids we could probably get better, but I kind of want to play. Ooh, I don't know what? Change plan. We're taking out Jacob. Oh yeah, we can't because we sold him. So Jacob's going to be playing. Yeah, I think this is a good team. Ballet, because Jacob can only shoot white. So yeah, we can't take out Jacob because we lost the players. But yeah, let me see. Yeah, because we lose him, we lose him. He's going to be playing. We also have Long. Long. What feet? Oh, no white footer. I don't like playing white feet. So yeah, whatever. We have another game against Philly. This will be the next game, and then we have to face a really good team. And then we have when is the transfer window coming back? Hmm. I don't know when it is coming back. But yeah, whenever we have the transfer window, we will sure probably make some moves again. But yeah. Let's play a game. We are away tonight. So yeah. Let's go beat the Philadelphia United. And then I will be coming back later. Oh my Boom. Bam. Warm up the goaltender. So yeah. Let's go win. We have another game against Philly.
Cameras trained on one man in a rich vein of form and topping the
See,
scoring charts.
he
Will he
would
add
be
more
topping
today
the
on
scoring,
EA
but
TV?
we traded the other guy. So, but I bet this
Well, nights like
20,
these are
the
just what
7
you hope for
person
as a spectator. A
will
warm
be
welcome.
topping the
My name is
goal.
Derek Ray. With me in the commentary box is Arsenal legend Lee Dixon.
But let's go.
And coming up for you is live
Michael
action from
Bradley
Major League
taking the
Soccer.
scene.
It's the Philadelphia Union, and they take on Toronto FC.
Thanks, Derek. Well, both managers will be reminding their players how important it is to get off to a quick start here. Attack the game
Oh yeah,
from the off.
and then
Pose
after
your
this game,
plan,
we
and
might play
hopefully
some.
we get a good game.
Well, as you can see,
Let's
the
go.
visitors come into this game full of confidence in front of goal. The best attack in the league statistically.
Well, Derek, fans want to see goals. We all want to see goals. And this lot rarely let us down. They're prolific. Ian Wright would have scored an absolute hatful in this team.
One sec. Giorn FC. Yeah. I didn't want to get the song.
This is how it looks for the
Now
home
look,
side.
guys, for the game,
What do you think about this
we're
particular
going to play
setup?
some
Well,
music.
strikers like support, and they've got support today in the number 10. They've also got 3 midfield players behind, 2 slightly wide, and 1 just sitting in front of the back four.
Here we go. I don't care if I get copyrighted for this. We're playing this for our team.
Thank you for joining us today. Enjoy the match.
Game time, boys. Let's go.
And the match is underway. Alejandro Bedoya. On the ball, Monteiro. What can they do from here? Gibilco. Chapman. Very good reading of the game to win possession back. Monteiro. Well, a top-notch piece of defensive judgment. And the
For
decision
what?
is one of offside here.
Offside? Good.
De La Vega. Well, not quite what he wanted to do with the pass. Wagner. Alejandro Bedoya. And do they mean business on this occasion? Retaining possession proving difficult. Oh, he's through here. Still a chance. And a goal to open the scoring. A very bright
Go.
start to this one.
Well, let's look at this again. Magical football on the break. Surprise is the key, and he had choices of what type of finish to apply. And bang, he goes for the smash. Lovely goal.
The opening goal of the game then.
Come on, boys, let go.
Wooten. And the referee is quite rightly letting it go.
Who's hurt? Jacob? Better not be hurt.
Good movement. Dangerous ball.
Ooh.
And the defender takes care of business. This looks threatening. The end product just wasn't there. Wooten. Can he put it in?
Good job,
Not
big
testing the keeper at
bow.
all with that
Move.
effort.
Move it, bud. Yeah. I love this team. Hey, muffins.
Getting forward.
Nope.
Sadly, you've got to say, miles off target.
Well, if it had just bent it or maybe just gone for a bit
I
more
do like the
accuracy.
team
Instead,
now.
he went for the strong
I
shot and he
want to
just
get
fluffed
better
his
D.
lines.
Do do do
De La
do
Vega.
do do do.
Might be a chance
'Cause our
here.
strikers are on point
They've
now.
gone and scored again. They're doing everything in their power to make sure they're not pegged back.
Well, here we can
Look
see
at
it
that
again, and
cloth.
no wonder the manager is furious.
Boom.
They just have to get tighter, have to deal with the danger. Not good enough at all defensively.
Boom. Let go. PFD. Yeah, I love this team though. I truly love this team.
Well, a second goal for them here.
Like we're fighting for the playoffs. Wait, I know we're gonna make the playoffs.
Well, successfully cut out.
Go. Go.
Well,
Oh,
that's
he
not
got some
watertight
speed.
defending.
West.
Now, was that the denial of a clear
Let's
goal
see
scoring
what card is
opportunity?
he gonna get. Yellow? Red!
Well, you cannot put in an illegal challenge
A red
under
card.
those circumstances. Red card it is.
Well, he didn't even look for it, did he?
That's
He didn't
definitely
wait
a
for
red.
the referee. He knew it was
That's
coming. Off he
definitely a
goes.
red.
They will now make use
Now
of
he
their
needs to
substitute
step
bench.
off, because if not, come on, Bradley.
Let's fly here.
Oh,
Well, that was close to free
good
kick
try, Brad.
defensively.
Yeah, just didn't quite get enough dip on it, did he?
Not
Over
really
the
good at
wall,
towing
just over the
kickers,
bar
but
as well.
oh well, he got a red, so he can't play. That's good. And we have more
Elliot.
strikers. Then they have better Ds, so that's good on that too. So
Gibilco.
yeah.
And taking it away.
The visitors are struggling with possession, really, but they won't mind. They're winning this game. And why? Because their counter-attack is absolutely fantastic.
Chapman.
Get over the bend.
Behind for him to chase. And he's made headway. And there it is.
Let's
Another
go!
goal. And surely there's no way back from this now.
Another goal for him. See, I think this guy is going to be the goal scorer.
Well, here's the replay. Super fast counter-attack football at its best. And then through on goal. Do you go for
He's
pace
going to be
or
the
do you go
next
for
goal
power?
scorer for
Well,
next
he
year.
certainly wasn't messing around,
For
was he?
sure.
Absolutely smashes it past the keeper.
If we
It's
play
a
him,
really lovely finish.
yeah.
Well, this is threatening to get out of hand.
I
Just
want
look
to
at the
take him
scoreline.
to the cup. I'm definitely gonna go to the nationals, I think. Hopefully we don't have
Not the
anyone
pass
that
he had
going
in
to
mind.
the nationals, but we will probably.
Throw-ins given. Gibilco.
I know we're taking
Now
it
Bedoya.
Bale for sure.
Bedoya.
For Wales.
Nicely timed tackle.
So
Well, let's see if something comes of this. Oh, in with a chance. Another goal.
let's
And that
go.
grows to four now. A rampant display.
There go, let's go. Keep it going.
Well, here it is again, and it's all about the pace in transition. They were so quick to get out from the back, and he had choices of what type of finish to apply. And bang, he goes for the smash. Lovely goal.
So they restart the game, and only one team in it. And possession lost, intercepted. Gibilco. Failed to keep hold of it. Tremendous intuition to win it back. And just 1 minute of time added on for stoppages. Well, nothing comes of the attack when all is said and done. De La Vega. Well, great read there to intercept. So there goes the half-time whistle. It is an acceptable scoreline from the point of view of the visitors. They find themselves on
Let's
top.
go.
Well, Derek, this goal-scoring machine continues to impress yet again. It's the sheer amount of chances they create for their flair players.
As anticipated, plenty of talking points so far. And now the second half is underway. Bedoya. Wagner. Gibilco.
I do like our defense.
Committed challenge. Oh, and a perfect ball now. How about this? Great opportunity. Oh, in it goes. Now he has his hat-trick. A special moment for him.
Well, as we look at this again, the keeper's every right to ask where his back line was, but 2v1 in the end, he's thinking now, is he going to pass or go round me? He's got no chance.
Oh, wait for the 5-hole.
Oh, my goodness, it's so one-sided. 5-0 in this match. Getting in there to intercept. We've been wondering if this might happen. Well, it is going to happen. The transfer's gone through. Paul Pogba has completed his move to
Wow.
Barcelona.
Well, he ticks a lot of boxes for me. Quality all round, energy, technique. He's got the full package.
Can he make it count? Oh,
Bladley. Go Bladley.
Here.
Oh, this is the team. This is the goal song for our team.
Well, we're seeing again here, and the pace and accuracy of this passing is a dream. And once he gets himself set through with the keeper to beat, he hammers it into the back of the net. Smashing goal.
Well, it's an out-and-out pasting. 6-0.
The boys feel the noise on the
Montero.
field. And
Well, they've lost possession of the ball. Useful looking position, you've got to say. Oh, big chance.
Well, you
field.
tell youngsters in that position just to hit the target.
Balls
You can't score
on
unless you
the
do. And on
field.
this occasion he does, and he scores.
내 이상.
De La Vega. And space for the cross. It might be. And this time it's in.
Was
Fabulous goal.
on the field.
And just look at the celebrations.
Was on the field. The thing.
Well, here's the replay. It's a very neat piece of deception to get past the defender. And when he gets through to the keeper, he just smashes it past him and gives him no chance to think. A lovely finish.
Well, it's been such a one-sided game. You just wonder how many more they could add. Wagner. Another MLS game for you to look forward to live on EA TV. It's the Philadelphia Union taking on the New England Revolution.
Yeah, atmospheres make games, Derek, and that should be an absolute belter.
Real chance. Oh, there it is! It's one goal after another, and it speaks to the quality of that performance.
Well, here's the replay. Super fast counter-attack football at its best. And he chooses to use power in the finish. Not much chance for the keeper when it's hit that hard.
Toronto FC goal. Number 25, Patrick Mullins.
Monteiro. Read it well. Good looking ball. There could be a chance now.
Where?
The importance of that tackle cannot be overstated. And they'll get ready for the throw-in. And they will make the change now. And unable to keep possession. De La Vega. Opportunity it is. And a goal here. There it is. They've done it.
Well, as we can see, the keeper's done his best, but there's nothing he can do from there. He's not going to miss that one.
Well, if there were any lingering doubts about the outcome, surely they now have been removed. And the right place to cut out the pass. And just looking ahead to MLS action on EA TV live. It's Toronto FC against the Seattle
We're
Sounders.
definitely my player
There is
starting
certainly a great
our
atmosphere
top
there.
gun
It's what I will be
there.
tuning in
That
for if I
a
wasn't there
tough
with you.
game.
And the ball's gone. In behind for him to chase. Can he put it away?
Too far.
Well, not a cross that will
Good
live
try.
long in the memory. Goal kick.
Jacob, take out Jacob
Well, he
for
often
six.
cuts the figure of a thinking person's footballer, and he's thought his way through this match, Lee.
Well, he's been the heartbeat of the team again today.
Let's
It's a big
go.
title, but he carries it off brilliantly well. Happy with responsibility. He's took the ball, he's used it really well. I love this guy.
And the defender takes care of business. Well, he's...
Hey, one sec, guys. So you're gonna have to fade this off. Yeah. I'm gonna get more TFC songs going in.
Got plenty of space on the flank here. Shibilko. That's how to blunt the edge of the opposing attack. Counter-attacking very much an option. Well, an example of a counter-attack that went nowhere. Monteiro. Shibilko. It might be on for them. Bradley. De La Vega. Well, it was a foul, but good use of advantage by the referee. Can he finish? A goal here, giving his team precisely what they were looking for. Now he deserves to celebrate it.
Well, when we see this again, it is a wonderful effort, a solo effort. Got to question the defenders. They just back off him, and he takes full advantage.
Well, let's take another look at that goal, shall we? Well, it's been such a one-sided game. You just wonder how many more they could add. Well, great read there to intercept. Can they get in behind them? Oh, good save. Well, he's given a corner, the referee.
Substitution for Toronto FC. Leading the match, number 14, Jay Chapman. To be replaced by number 13.
And firing it into the area. And a goal here. Accuracy with the header. Just what they needed.
Well, here's the replay, and it starts with a brilliant ball into the box. Really nice and deep, and what a great finish as well. Good connection with the ball, leaving the goalkeeper absolutely no chance. Fantastic goal.
And the referee has deemed that an additional 4 minutes are in order. We have entered the final minute of normal time. Shibilko. Well, that pass easy on the eye. Have they given him too much? Oh, big chance. It could be up for grabs. And that is that. The referee blows his whistle for full time, and it's a victory for the Visitors League.
Well, being potent up front gives you a great chance in any game, and there was certainly that today. Sharp, clinical, and exciting to watch for sure.
Opportunity. Oh, and it goes. Now he has his hat-trick. A special moment for him. Can he make it count? Oh!
The same hope.
Is it all right if we just ask you a couple of questions?
I want you to join with us. Make our fight your fight. Let's come together. Let's come together. Let's
No further
take
questions.
up the slogan, no pasará. They shall not pass. No pasará. No
يا خيمتي نار البعد والله ما تكوينا حملناه من جد الولد فلسطين ناجينا جايين والعز انولد يا قدس ناجينا حنا الشعب المديني جايينك يا فلسطين حنا الشعب المديني جايينك يا فلسطين حنا الشعب
Aye, where you from? Canada? Everybody on the left, everybody on the right, in the front and in the back. Let them know where you from. I'm from the T-Dot. Rep it everywhere I go. Everybody from the cold. This is where we callin' home. Rep it everywhere I go. Million people at your door. This is where we callin' home. Yeah, I'm from the T-Dizzle-O. Hot with the sizzle flow. It's cold when the airplanes land in the dot O. Home of the block O. Patois and proper English. Rep it like it's my gang, that's why I sing this. Bleed red and white like Coca-Cola Classic. So people I know still have their couches in the plastic. Good people got blasted. So we pour a little liquor out and think about it while we plastered. Real figures here, never seen an Eskimo. Fronts in the wrong area, niggas might let it go. Yeah, I love where I'm from, every 2.5 million. Sing out! I'm from the Reppin' everywhere I go. Everybody from the cold. This is where we callin' home. Yeah. Reppin' everywhere I go. Million people at your door. This is where we callin' home. Yeah, I'm from the depths of Scarborough. One ways of Vaughan Road. Apartments in Flemington. Shadows in the P.O. Every area reppin' the home team. My Italians hold me down. Africans, same thing. Portuguese get it in. Filipinos rock with me. Enough Trinnies and Yachties holding the block with me. So many faces like we the Winter Olympics. Greatest city ever after dark, you better think quick. Club district, parking lot politicking. We got hotter women than any city admitting. We the number one, check out the figures we getting. No apologies and never quitting. I'm from the T-Dot. Reppin' everywhere I go. Everybody from the cold. This is where we callin' home. Yeah. Reppin' everywhere I go. Million people at your door. This is where we callin' home. Region, Jungle, Vaughan Road, Malvern, Chester, Lee, Rexdale, let the fire burn. John Garland, Flemo, stand up. If you from Toronto, let me see you put a hand up. Born alone, die alone, but I'm never on my own. Don't watch no face, stay true is what I was shown. I'm a product of OGs and social workers. 3 years of university and licks burgers. Harlem Underground, black-owned businesses. Bigging up hats and immigrants from long distances. Working class people and some others with some privileges. Anywhere you look at it, we seeing past differences. Yo, I am multicultural. Hand to my ear, listening like the holster. And all I'm hearing is we the greatest around. To the grave, I'ma rep my town. Yeah, I'm from the Reppin' everywhere I go. Everybody from the cold.
rainbow, you know you set me free. And I just can't get enough, and I just can't get enough. You're like an angel and you give me your love, and I just can't seem to get enough. In the sun, in the rain, we will always call your name. Through the thick and the thin, we are loyal to the end. For the boys on the field, for the boys on the field, oh, we sing and chant the legend TFC. In the day, through the night.
Cameras trained on one man, and the sensational performance last time. Will it be more of the same? Stay with us on EA TV.
By the soul, we will never stand alone.
Hello everyone and welcome.
For the boys on the field, for the boys
Ready to bring you commentary. Joining me is the
we sing and chant the legend TFC.
Toronto FC, and they take on the Seattle Sounders.
Thanks, Derek. I'm sure both coaches will want their players to start with a real zip in their play. Really show the opposition what they're in for. That could lead to fireworks. Let's hope so.
Well, he has to be regarded always as a dangerous opponent, but what should we expect to see from him in this game, Lee?
Well, he comes into this game with history, a hatful in his last game. We all know that. But also the defenders know that. How will they cope?
For the boys on the field, for the boys on the field, oh, we sing and chant the legend TFC. Oh, we sing and chant the legend TFC. Oh, we sing and chant the legend TFC.
Cool and Dre. This is the remix for the city. Let's just start snapping. Crackhead bleak on the jack. Like, let's make it happen.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Two central midfield players playing four to a three ahead of them, and then a lone striker with a number 10 just behind him.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Show it what you want, show it what you need. My niggas run the game, we ain't never leave. Counting up this money, we ain't never sleep. You got B12, I got 12 V's. Got bottles, got weed, got my I'm all the way up. Show it what you want, I got what you need. Show it what you want, I got what you need. Show it what you want, I got what you need. I'm all the way up.
He's driven in the corner.
I'm all the way up.
Just over the top in the end.
I'm all the way
Managing
up.
trying to get his message across on the touchline.
Tell me your way up, Dre. You know you made it when the fact you mash made it is worth millions. Lemonade is a popular drink and it still is.
Rui Diaz.
Survival of the littest. Niggas who really up verse niggas up in your business. I'm in the room where real niggas not allowed. Woo. I'm the only one in the room that they fear right now. Woo! I think they clear right now. But celebrate no red champagne, we don't play that. All we see is gold bottles and paper plane hats. 21 Grammys that I use for Douce cups. I'm on the penthouse floor, call your way up. The OG said, oh, how high is high enough? I said, till we I and I with the higher ups. Until we let them know we ain't those niggas. Until our baby showered in gold, nigga. Blue looking like Pop in the tub. David LaChapelle levels are not giving a fuck. Prince left his matches where they safe and sound. Never gonna let the elevator take us down.
Wasn't me, this was God's doing. And this time I won't finger roll. Pat Ewing, they ain't wanna see the squad in the rock. Now they chasing the wraith like Mr. Softy's on the block. Stars on the roof, got a feeling like Venus. Getting so much brain, now I'm a dog, called a genius. Ever since pump been gone, been independent. So I went in through the punch jump, man, up independent. I flooded out all the crisis. Out of Paris, I learned what real ice is. I'm kicking flavor in your ear. I just had a gray on my face and it disappeared. I just shot the biggest ejection, the shit cleared. When everybody counted us out just this year. I'm Steph Curry in the clutch. Take a shot at this Royal Elite and go all the way up.
It is going to be a goal kick.
All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up.
He's in behind.
I'm all the way up.
Is it going to be?
I'm
He
all
does it
the
as
way
good to
up.
begin with.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
My swag, my flow, I stole it back. They mad, too bad. My shows is packed. My town, my crown, I barely rap. I'm home, my throne, I spoil you. When the bitch was gone, they was really playing with it. I was sitting listening like they ain't even saying shit. Now the real is back, I see they all trying to change this shit. But it's really too late now, I'm going back. One of these bitches, two of these bitches gotta die. Three of these bitches, four of these bitches gonna cry. Five of these bitches popping pills, they high. Six broke bitches.
Lines, but he composes himself and slips it past the keeper beautifully. Well, enjoy the good days as a coach. It can be a roller coaster ride, I can tell you that.
Time to play the game.
Well, a second goal for the team.
Hey guys, how are you? It's me, Toe, from the Toe Knows Everything podcast and at GTA Sportsplex. It is another TFC Roundtable today, brought to you by our sponsor, Popeyes Woodbridge, and our good friend Santiago from TFC On The Road. Today I have my special guest, the real Marco G in the house, Nico and Dante, and we're going to be shooting the breeze about TFC, talking about everything you want to know, the players, and the inside scoop that nobody else will be able to give you in the Big Six. So guys, it's been a crazy couple of weeks for TFC. We've seen a lot of ups and downs. We just played Portland. We've seen changes in the goaltending. We've seen changes up front. We've seen Altidore get hurt. Dante, what's your assessment of what's happening in the big house?
Oh, I think it's chaotic right now. I mean, we got a defense that I don't know what's happening. We got forward problems. We got goaltender issues. We got, I don't know, maybe coaching issues.
Absolutely.
I think it's a bit of everything.
You got it. There is a mixed bag of things that are going on, and people are starting to ask questions. Nico, we were just talking about Altidore getting hurt and commenting on the fact that there was some support staff, the physiotherapy staff that used to work for TFC last year when Jovinko was around. They actually had an Italian physiotherapist that worked with all the designated players. He was not available for Altidore to treat him the day that he got injured, and he called out MLSE executives. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, he has a point. I mean, everyone always talks about Altidore's glass, and he is to a certain extent. His hamstring was a big issue, but he hasn't hurt that hamstring since 2016 when the trainer started working with him. Now this year he's not working with him, and all of a sudden the hamstring goes out again. Not a good sign. What gives me hope is that the next day, apparently him and Manning, they smooth things over. Everything is good now. They sent out the picture of Altidore with the trainer. So hopefully things are smooth over, because right now we have to keep Altidore happy, because if we lose him, we're done.
So obviously that's a little bit of damage damage control. I think MLSE is wise enough to understand that, hey, you don't want to air your dirty laundry. Do you think it was right of Altidore, a professional player of his caliber and at his level, a designated player, to air out his dirty laundry to the media and to the city?
Honestly, guys, I definitely think it's a good move for him.
You would have done it if you were Altidore.
100%. You're only as good as the team and the staff that you're with. So if no one's supporting you, how can you get things done? How can you accomplish which the target is to win games? Because championships are won 20 games at a time. They don't think of the whole season. Championships are won one game at a time, guys. One game at a time. And if we're not backing our beast player who's smashing goals when he's in top fitness, what's the point of even having him around?
I agree with you, but just to use the analogy of a family, if something goes down in the family, do you air out your dirty laundry to the rest of the schoolhouse, or do you keep it inside and try and work it out? Should have Altidore went back into the change room and talked it out there in private? Is it right to air that dirty laundry?
You keep it behind closed doors. I mean, Altidore got hurt on that hamstring that he's hurt so many times. He was frustrated after the game. He came off. The media got him right away. In that heat of the moment, he let it go. He knows he probably shouldn't have done it, but it is what it is. And he got a result from it, so why not do it in the future if you're going to get results right away?
He's getting what he wanted.
Yeah. Does it take yelling and screaming to get what you want with MLSE? That's the real question. Because it seems like they're reactionary. They only react to issues once they've happened. They're not proactive. So they should have known, obviously, because this trainer worked with them for the last couple of years that Jovinko was here. Worked on Bradley, worked on Altidore, worked on Jovinko. They should have kept that guy around. At the end of the day, I'm going to guarantee you, they didn't pay him more than 150 grand a year. I'd venture to say they paid him 50 grand a year. Why not keep a guy like that on to make sure that your key players are healthy?
Well, it's two big issues I see from this whole scenario. One, Altidore's still upset with management over how they handled Giovinco, because they were buds. You know what I mean? And he's obviously still discontent with that, that he's easily just now aggravated over everything. You see him with Pozuelo, they look happy together, but you know he misses Giovinco. They're best buds. Second, is that why isn't this trainer working with the whole team? Why is it only the designated players that get this physiotherapist working on their muscles? Why isn't the whole team getting access to that?
It tells you about the mentality of management and the lack of insight from the coaching staff. You would think with the experience, at the end of the day, Vanny's an experienced coach now. Guy's won an MLS Cup. He's played in the MLS. He's gone through the ranks, U.S. soccer. How can he not be advocating to have a member of staff who keeps your team healthy on staff year-round? It amazes me.
It's mind-blowing.
Right? Makes no sense. Marco, what would you have done differently in that game?
In that game, with the result of the injury, what I would have done, who's to say that he didn't bring it up behind closed doors and got nothing was solved? You know, because there's so many times that you could say to someone, nice, but nice doesn't cut it sometimes.
Right.
So you gotta be you gotta
take action. You gotta be hurt.
You gotta be a little bit of a prick to get your point across.
And he got what he wanted.
He did, and it was definitely an effective method. So hats off to Altidore.
Absolutely. What do you guys think about the goaltending situation? We're starting to bounce back and forth from Bono to our other goalkeeper. What do you guys think?
I think Vanny's got to come out and say this is the starting goalie. Like,
Who's the starting goalie? Is Bono the starting goalie for you? Because I was there at the game for Minnesota, and I got to tell you, he looks super shaky to me. His distribution of the ball is very poor, lacks confidence, doesn't get to the ball first. I don't know what it is with Bono, but he is definitely lacking the confidence to come out and win that ball.
Yeah, Dante, as you were saying, it was the first goal where Quintero came down and Bono came out to play a ball that he had no business playing, and he went right by him and put it in. Bono's not the starting goalie. Neither, though, is Westberg, from what I've seen. We don't have a starting goalie right now. We have two guys that should be on the bench on any other team.
I think we should bring in a young cat that wants to make a name for himself. That Bono, this and that. All the goals I see him let in, they're cheese goals. And then he pulls a miracle out of nowhere, a 1 foot Buffon like in 2006. So I don't get it.
There was a saying that I read that I believe it was Joshua Cloak, who writes for The Athletic, brought up. He says, when goalies make those acrobatic saves, it means they were in the wrong position to start with.
Yes.
If you have to go out and make that stretch save, you weren't positioned well to begin with, and that's Bono to a T. He makes those circus saves because he's never in the right position.
He pinches for me.
Yeah.
He thinks he's faster than the striker, and the guy's just running like a horse all day.
Yeah, he lacks the perception of the field, and he lacks the clarity to see where he really needs to be in certain set plays, even in a play where you've got 2 or 3 attacking guys, he's completely out of position. I got to disagree with you about one thing. I don't think you need a young cat. I think you need an experienced goaltender who knows the game, because that's your quarterback. At the end of the day, every great team that's ever won a championship, a World Cup, Division I, NCAA Division Cup, has had a goalie that has been your general. And you need an experienced goalie if you want to go all the way.
So are we calling PSG and calling Buffy?
Listen,
hey,
I said it a couple of weeks ago.
Why not?
Obviously, MLSE's definitely got the money, but I don't know about the cap with the money that they've spent. At the end of the day, you bring a guy like Buffon, I'll tell you something. Just in jersey sales alone, you will pay for him. Look at the Ronaldo effect. Ronaldo was paid for by jersey sales in the first month.
The first
month, worldwide sales. Okay, so as an investor, it makes total sense. And I think you need an experienced goalie and all.
It's tough when you have the situation that they're in, because Bono did look so promising
He
at
did,
the beginning.
he
was
did.
called up to the United States on the junior team to train with them. He looked so promising, which makes me wonder, is it mental?
Right.
Has something just switched in him? Like we always talk about in the NHL with goalies and how much of it's mental compared to physical. It could be the same thing. It could be the same thing with goalies in soccer as well. It's tough to see because he had so much promise.
Yeah, like Carey Price, look at him.
An unforced error,
He
you've
was
got
doing
to
great
say.
with the Canadians, and now
Every great player, and I always reference back to my generation, Diego Maradona had a psychologist that worked with him. Now, mind you, he had a lot of vices. He had a lot of problems.
He needed that psychologist.
100%. But I'll tell you something. He was an amazing player, and one of the reasons why is because he worked with a sports psychologist who told him, "You are the best. You cannot miss. You are the best forward of all time." And he was convinced in his own mind and convinced by others who surrounded him that he could do no wrong on the field. So that is what you need in sports today, and I don't see it happening. Like, there's no motivator on TFC. Who's the team motivator on TFC? Who's out there pumping these guys up? Because Bradley has taken a back seat. He used to be the guy. I don't know what's happened to Bradley. I used to love him. He was the real general on the pitch. He is no longer that general. And you know what? The psyche of the team has changed. And you know what I contributed to? Jovinko in Saudi Arabia. I'm going to tell you, because it was like a switch being turned off. As soon as he was gone, that team was deflated. The motivation is no longer there. Not to say that Jovinko was a motivator, because he definitely wasn't, but his actions through his play was motivating. And I think people responded to that, and so did the stands. The stands were full. Everybody was cheering him on. You got a hometown crowd of 30,000 people. Last game against Minnesota, I think there were 20,000 people in the stands, a little shy of 20,000 people. So people, even though with Consuelo there, who's been doing, I gotta say, very well, adapting to the MLS game, phenomenal player, doesn't get the same response as Jovinko.
No, doesn't. But he is a better player than Giovinco would have been this year. I'd much rather Pozuelo on a team from a soccer standpoint, not a selling jersey standpoint, not a filling a stadium standpoint, but from a soccer standpoint, would much rather Pozuelo this year than a Giovinco.
Yeah, his goals have all been spectacular, and he sets
his assists, 4 goals, 5 assists in like 6 games or 5 games, whatever it is. It's crazy.
Everything runs through it.
Absolutely. So, Mika, we talked about it the last time. We said, what happens if Altidore gets injured? Who does Pozuelo feed? Because obviously that connection was starting to build. The Altidore-Pozuelo connection. Who does he work with now? Who does he feed? Because we saw some substitutions have come in, and I think, you know, some of these guys are capable. And I think we talked about it before. Guys like a Terrence Boyd maybe deserve another shot. What do you think?
Vanny needs to wake up and realize there's no shame in admitting you were wrong and switching your formations. If Altidore's out, Altidore's good enough to play that sole striker role while Pozuelo drifts back a little bit and distributes. When he's not there, you can't. I love Hamilton, I love Akinola, Boyd seems like a great guy. None of those guys can play the center by themselves. Take off Delgado, who ain't doing nobody any favors by being on the midfield anyways. Throw on a second striker, have Hamilton and Boyd start, or Akinola and Boyd. That way you have the veteran leadership of someone like Boyd with one of the young kids. And then sub in Akinola or Hamilton, the other one, at the half if you need someone fresh. 2 strikers should always be on there. Look at the game, I believe it was against New England, when Altidore just came back from his injury. He started on the bench. They started with 2 strikers. What happened? Akinola scored, Hamilton scored. They subbed in Altidore for Hamilton. Altidore scored in that 2-striker system. And then they completely abandoned it when Pozuelo came in because they're saying Pozuelo plays the striker role with Altidore. He doesn't. He's a midfielder. Period.
He's a central attacking mid.
He's a CAM by any other name. And the fact that TFC isn't realizing that is a joke, and Vanny needs to switch that formation.
Agreed. Like, I agree with you 100%, especially about Delgado. I don't know how many chances you can give this guy, and no disrespect to him, but at a certain point, you're a professional player, you're getting paid, you're not producing. It's time for him to see the bench. He cannot be starting every single game. And I got to tell you, another player that I'm very disappointed in, because this guy had huge potential, and I don't know what's happened to him. Osorio. Well, and I know he scored that goal that basically bumped off his leg the last game. He's a talented guy, but this year he is not the same Osorio that we saw last year or the year previous. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think Osorio, he's got to adapt now, because I think Pozuelo's just taken over, and Osorio's like, I'm just going to take a back seat over here.
Not much chance for the keeper when it's hit that hard.
When Jovinko was playing with him, Osorio built somewhat of a confidence during that Champions League run. Even Delgado, even to add for that, like that was his last, I guess, major stint. He's just got to adapt more to Pozuelo. I don't know if it's a playing together thing, chemistry, building, but we'll see in the next few games. I'll get a better idea.
And time. Yeah. You need some time. You got to give them a little bit of time. But really, at the end of the day, you don't want to go on a downward spiral where there's no coming back.
Exactly.
Sure. You guys ever watch the show Band of Brothers? Okay. About the World War II guys. They had a platoon.
Exactly.
Now, they started together. They didn't know each other. It took time to get their trust.
Right.
Then, when they had their team, they didn't want to be friends with the young guys that came in, because they knew, hey, these guys are going to end up dying.
So they didn't want to form a bond because you weren't sure they were going to
So
be.
you take out Jovinko, your sergeant major, the guy you look up to, all your other guys, crumbled. You pull out a key guy. And not only that, they were good on the field, but they had a friendship outside of the field. They hung out together.
It's funny you mentioned something like that, because there's actually a fantastic write-up right now on Osorio, and the guy followed him, and he said when he came in, none of the veteran guys helped him at all. He had to go by himself, work by himself, and get to where he is. And now he's trying to do the opposite for guys like Liam Frazier. He told Frazier, he says, meet me at 7 a.m., we'll train, we'll do everything. He's trying to give that role. And that's why I'm going to go ahead here and disagree with you guys a little on the whole Osorio scenario. Yes, he hasn't done as much as he'd done last year. However, he's still doing stuff behind the scenes. In 7 games, he has 2 goals and 4 assists. The 4 assists is a big number for 7 games. He isn't as on the ball as he was last year. He's taking more of a supporting role. He plays where he needs to play. I mean, I am a big fan of Osorio. I mean, he's Colombian. I'm half Colombian. Like, I love the guy. He's a fantastic player.
Listen, I think he had huge
Let's
potential.
go.
I actually think he shouldn't have re-signed with TFC. Personally, that guy should have been playing in Europe.
Well, so in this write-up too, the story was a Mexican team that he left nameless, came and actually had a dinner with him and offered him a contract. And he said his dream is to play in Europe.
Right.
And if he does, he wants to be sold from TFC. So TFC matched the offer. He stayed with us, but you got to think his mind's still getting to Europe. So you're right. He does need to perform more.
He does.
If he wants to get to
He's
Europe.
got huge potential. Listen,
he can't lie under the radar.
Right.
He has to go at it.
You can't be the second guy on the pitch. You got to be the first guy. And it doesn't matter if Pozuelo's a designated player, and if he's making the big bucks, Osorio's got to act like he's the designated player.
Like
That's really the only way to get to Europe. You can't be in a secondary role. No way. Let's talk a little bit about the defense. We got issues, guys. Like you've seen it with Mavinga.
Understatement of the
missing
year.
more. Defense is just crumbled. What are your thoughts on defensively? Like, what should they be doing?
Moore, please come back.
So, listen, I'm going to tell you something about Moore. Great guy, another guy who was a general. Listen, age creeps up on you, and so do injuries, and I think he's at that point. What do we need to do to make sure that we have a strong defense?
TAM defender. I mean, because at this point you have Mavinga, who is a fantastic defender, but he makes some sloppy mistakes. But you see sometimes where he's hauling down, throws out the sliding foot, and gets the ball out of there, and makes a gorgeous defensive play you see on highlights all week long. But he makes some very poor mistakes on where he should be and where the ball is that allow goals sometimes. I think Mavinga's fantastic, but he needs to have a field general on there telling him where to go. Moore, I need him back, but you're right, he's getting older. These injuries are getting more frequent.
You can see it.
Simon, we thought could have been that guy, but hasn't been so far. Zavaleta is only on the team because he's Vanny's nephew.
Wow. That was beautiful.
And then you know what? Our wing.
I smell roast.
It's true.
Holy,
but
barbecue season.
But it's true. It's true. Zavaleta, listen, he had his moments in our cup run. He played well in that formation, but he's not he's not a starter in the MLS, in my opinion.
Drew Moore made him look good.
Drew Moore made him look great.
Yeah.
And it's just, he's not a starter. Our wing backs, I still have complete faith in our wing backs with Morrow and Auro. I have complete faith in them, but they're too offensive-minded. They're not coming back.
Absolutely.
And they only work when you play 3 center backs. Lately, Vanny's been playing the 2 center backs, and with those guys going up, now we're trapped.
Yeah, you have 2 guys in the back.
You have
You're
2
playing
guys,
high
you're
like
done.
Zambrota back in the day.
You got those
and
2
he'd
guys,
always get picked.
and you need Bradley now chipping back to help out on the defensive end as well, and that's not what you want.
Absolutely, and that's where we're lacking in the midfield. Because Bradley is playing such a defensive role, we no longer have that strength in the middle that we used to have when Bradley was an attacking midfield.
And we're getting caught, guys, like down the wings, because they're very offensive-minded. We're getting burned. Like, we see it time and time out.
We don't have the speed
the
on
Seattle
our
game, Minnesota, like, I could go on and on.
We shouldn't be going high on the wings then. The way they have to do the defense is an old school style. Know that you don't have the fastest guys on the wings, but when you keep your guys in a line, in a 4-4-2 or, and a 4-4-2, when I say 4-4-2, the way I describe it, it should be 4-4 and 2 but vertical, not horizontal. So one is like a CAM,
like a 4-4-1-1. You have
like a center forward and then the striker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they gotta play triangles. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you have your defense in a straight line, guess what? It's a straight line. You stay together. You can play the offside trap. When you have 2 guys leaving and you're just caught in the middle, and you're in the box, what's gonna happen? You're gonna get overlapped. One guy pinches, and they have the guy at the top of the point.
You're right.
Ready for that pass back.
You're right. And I want to give Morrow and Auro all the credit in the world, because they run more on that pitch than anyone realizes they run, because they're going forward and they're going back. But if you're doing that the whole game, you're going to get slower. You're going to get slower. No matter how good of an athlete you are, you're going to get slower.
By the 75th minute, they're done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Morrow and Auro, I think, especially Morrow gets a lot of heat from fans, because they say, you know what, he's not always coming back. He is always coming back. It's always running full speed back because he goes so far up to attack. He is coming back, and it's just, when you do that all game, it's tiring. Like, the poor guy. That's why if they're not going to switch to 2 forwards, then they need to go back to 5 defense and play the 3 center backs and then the 2 wingers and let them go. It worked for us to win the cup that year. Exactly. That's how we played it. We had Moore, Zavaleta, Mavinga, and then Morrow and Betashore on the wings, and that's how we won.
3-5-2 is,
Guys, I want to talk about a TFC player that's on loan in the CPL, Ryan Telfler. He scored the first goal, the historic first goal for the CPL, the Canadian Premier League,
He'll go down in history.
on Saturday, on loan from TFC. They played the Forge out in Hamilton. What do you think about him?
I mean, you know what? Even last year, you saw him with TFC when he got his opportunities in the Canadian Championship. He looked like he had promise.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it was nice seeing him to be the first ever goal scorer in CPL history. He's going to go down in history. That's his goal. It was a nice goal, nice play built up by York. Unfortunately, Hamilton came back and tied it. You know, York guys over here. Let's go York 9. But Hamilton came back and tied it, but it was good to see Telfer get the goal.
What do you guys think about the quality of play? We're just going to talk about it because our fans are obviously Toronto fans, Toronto FC fans. A lot of people probably had some interest, maybe watch the game, although it was on the same day as the TFC game, which was sort of ridiculous in terms of scheduling. But it was a couple hours before. What do you think of the quality of play?
Okay, I honestly watched the game. I saw the first goal, fantastic. You know, Telfler just completely burned Forge's defense. But what I saw was 2 professional teams try and make it happen on the first game. The way I saw it, York 9 had more calculated, nice-looking European-style type soccer plays and didn't pinch so much on the ball to make it a not 1v1. They kept it 1v1 on their side.
Look at who's their coach, right? Jimmy Brennan.
Exactly.
That's the defender mindset, right? You play that way, you don't pitch.
Don't bunch. And Forge was going after everything, trying to get the ball, 3-4 guys at a time, and then Chris Nanko kept putting the ball into the box, but to nobody. Looking for it. There was no one there.
Marco,
and I think the game pace is a lot slower.
Okay, that's what I want to ask you. In terms of quality of play, where would you rank the CPL level in comparison to MLS? And I know it was only the first game. You got to give them some time.
Yeah, of course.
But where would you say that it ranks? Is this a C division, a D division? Where does it rank for you?
Okay, compared to MLS, since MLS, you know, definitely has picked up pace and it looks a hell of a lot more like European soccer. It's beautiful, but I would say it's, you know, maybe a Div 2, Div 3. Okay, like, listen, I played with a lot of those guys on York 9. I played with a lot of guys in the CPL. Believe me.
And I'm sure you smashed 90% of them.
I have.
90%
I
of them.
honestly have.
Got
They know
Tuzo
it.
style.
If you ask
I believe
Emilio
it.
Estevez on York 9 about Marco Giorgio, he'll tell every player, watch out for that guy. Because that guy
I don't need
plays.
to ask him. I believe you.
That guy plays with square balls. He's gonna tell him. You know what I'm saying?
So,
But, yeah.
Is it a farm system essentially for the MLS?
Yes.
Yes.
It has to be.
That's what they have to aim for. They have to aim to be an option aside from USL.
Yes.
If they can set
Right.
themselves
Well-
up as a team as teams that can compete in the USL, if they were in there, that's what they need to do. They can't focus about MLS.
There's actually some news I got about that. Apparently, they're going to be forcing all the Canadian teams that are within the USL and USLT to have to play in Canada.
Ottawa was the first one of that. Ottawa
Right.
Fury.
Ottawa. They
was-
knew this
it
year.
was
They said
huge.
next year you have to go
Yeah.
to CPL. Now we have Thunder Bay Chill. We got Calgary Foothills. We got a bunch of teams that are top-notch teams. We don't have a USL team from Toronto, guys.
Well, Toronto SC2 plays USL.
Oh,
Yes.
Toronto
or they
SC2.
did 2 years ago. I don't know if they did last year.
I don't know where they are
But
right now.
They were in USL.
So on the topic of this right now, I've been doing some research in terms of this because I'm following exactly what you're following. And I looked into the Ottawa Fury franchise,
Yes.
which happens to be on the market for $3 million for the Ottawa Fury franchise.
Really?
Okay, so a lot of things are going through my mind. Okay, so we're going to talk after
Okay,
this because
guaranteed.
I think there's a lot of potential in Ottawa. I think in
so,
certain
too.
markets the CPL will do well, depending on whether or not they have other product. In Toronto, it's going to be a very hard uphill battle
Yeah.
because you've got the MLS here, because you've got the NBA, the Leafs, the
sports.
Toronto Rock, the Argos. It never ends. Now we've got rugby. Like we've got every major sports franchise that you can think of.
Yep.
So it is going to be tough. Although I have to say, in certain markets, I think the CPL could work. Would you agree?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think in terms of the smaller markets, because they don't have much of like in terms of teams, like other than like for example, Ottawa's just like the Senators and then obviously CFL, but in terms of those smaller markets, that's where you can hit the youth, especially.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
More.
Like
that's where
absolutely.
the grassroots.
It's Halifax's only pro team.
That's
Yeah,
it.
it is.
So in
I watched
Halifax,
that
it makes
game.
total sense.
I
You're going to
watched
get the
that game.
families out. It's an affordable
Yeah.
day out with your family.
Exactly.
It makes total
Even the
sense.
team out in Vancouver, it's on the
Pacific.
island. It's not in
Pacific.
Vancouver.
Right.
Pacific,
Pacific
they're
FC,
on the
they
island.
held an entertaining game. God bless them all. Marcus Haber, buddy of mine, who he actually wants to come on and say what's up. I wanted to tell you.
We're gonna
after,
get him
but
on here.
We're gonna get him here.
Yeah, no, he's the Pacific FC. All the fans from there that I've seen on Twitter, they're all saying, "Listen, we have no ties to the Whitecaps because it's a 3-hour drive for us to get there."
right. No.
So they have a team now, so it's good.
They were a packed house. It was entertaining. I saw it just from Instagram clips. Pacific FC held a great game. They won 1-0 against Halifax.
How nice is that purple too? They have.
Beautiful. Royal purple.
If the league is smart, eventually, right now they only have 7 teams. But if the league is smart and to keep it a cost-effective,
Yeah, they can't raise the price too much.
and
on
not only
bringing the
raising
teams
the
in.
price, I think you need to have 2 divisions: a Western Division and an Eastern Division,
Yes.
because
I like
traveling
that.
Traveling's
costs.
gonna be brutal.
And I think people want to see more of a local type rivalry,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
People
Believe
want to
that,
see Ottawa play York 9. People want to see that,
Yeah.
right? So I think it would be wise if they could eventually do that.
Well,
And then there's a chance of sustainability.
I heard through the grapevine, if it goes well, there might be a team called Kingston Knights coming out.
I've heard Kingston. I've heard Mama next either 2020. They're saying more likely 2021, but they're aiming for 2020 is a team out of Quebec. They're saying it can
Yeah, there's nothing
it could
out of
either be
Quebec right
Quebec
now.
City, it can be Laval
Yeah.
having a team.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
what they've been talking about,
Nice.
bringing one in. So they are looking to expand in the coming years. I
Yeah.
think the first 5 years of this league,
It's going to be tough.
it's tough.
Shaky.
And if they could get past it, they're good. But it's going to be a tough 5 years.
They have to do it for the next 5 years. They will sustain because Soccer Canada needs them for the World Cup 2026.
Exactly.
So whether they make money, lose money, break even, doesn't
Yeah,
make
I
a
agree.
difference. The league will sustain for the next 5 years for certain.
Can I tell you one of my biggest issues with Toronto media?
Yeah.
You look at Sportsnet, on their page, they had everything. They had CPL this, CPL that, CPL that. You went to TSN, zilch.
Yeah.
And they were in talks of getting the rights for some of the games. I don't know if they did, but they had nothing for CPL going on in the opening
Yeah.
weekend,
It's a
which
good
is a
point.
joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke. They had stuff about stuff no one cares about,
Yeah.
but nothing on the CPL in the opening
curling.
weekend.
Oh, curling, yeah.
It's brutal. You
Throwing a
gotta
piece
support.
of granite rock,
You guys
making it every day at work.
TSN calls themselves too like the host for soccer here. You know, they got all the TFC stuff here. They
Yeah.
got all the guys. They got Caldwell. They got Wildman. They got
That's
all
right.
of them. and none of these guys were talking
Okay,
CPL.
so I got two beefs with the CPL. Actually, not with the players, because I think at the end of the day, they put on a decent show for a first game. Like, you know, in out west, they put on a great show, and I even think Hamilton York 9 put on some pretty good soccer for the first game out. It was very windy. It looked like a beautiful day on TV, which it was, but it was extremely windy in Hamilton, and I think it was a tough game to play with all of that wind. But I'm going to tell you the product was decent for the first game. The only beef that I have with the CBC, especially in the commentary, is, again, what do we have on CBC? We have soccer followed by track and field, and then we have commentators who really, at the end of the day, are not the commentators that should be commentating. There's zero passion. It is dead. The commentary was horrible. I'm sorry. And it was almost worse than Jimmy Brennan's green scarf. He looked like a leprechaun. Jimmy Brennan, don't wear that green scarf. I gotta tell you, you're gonna wear a suit. You got a nice three-piece suit.
That's it,
The
buddy.
green scarf, I know green is your color for the team and the logo. Don't wear the damn scarf. You look like a leprechaun. Wear something completely crazy.
No, going on the commentary.
No passion in the commentary. None
He
whatsoever.
made the first goal, York 9's first goal.
They called the wrong player.
They gave it to
Wrong
Cyrus
player.
Rollins.
Wrong player.
Come my buddy Cyrus Rollins. And it wasn't him.
I'm
It was
sure he'll
lined
take
up.
it. I'm sure he'll
Cyrus
take
will take it. He's a great player.
Listen,
we're
you
gonna
know,
have you on
what-
too, brother. Don't
what,
worry.
What they need is they need someone to deliver with energy. Look at BN Sports. Who do they have doing their commentary for almost every game they have? Ray Hudson. I can watch anything if he's commentating it because he brings so much life to the game. You put someone like that in a CPL role, it makes the game so much more interesting. You can a person who can call the game correctly and with enthusiasm makes it so much easier to watch, and they need someone like that. I know Gareth Wheeler did one game. I can't remember which game he did over the past weekend or if he's going to do, and he's not bad, but if that's your standard for commentators, you need to be reaching higher.
Guys, just call Tony.
Tonos, give me a shot. I'll show you guys how to do it.
CPL, this is
We'll
the
bring on the
commentator.
crew right here. We'll bring on the crew. CPSL, if you want, you can call us. We're not cheap, but we'll do it.
We'll do it.
At the end of
100%.
the day, I think the CPL will be around for the next couple of years. They have to be.
I hope so.
Whether it succeeds or not,
CPL,
it's
let's
going to
do it,
succeed
guys.
till 2026. I hope a lot of these young players get a shot at playing for the Canadian national team, because really that's the dream, and we wish them the best of luck with that. One last thing before we wrap it up, guys, just want to talk about Champions League. We had Ajax. They won 1-0. The only positive thing that I can say about that is that they took Juve out, and now at least they're proving that they're a real contender. Who's going to win the Champions League?
I'm calling Ajax because I want to say that Juve lost to the champion.
Okay.
They had the want. They had the
They
want.
did, yeah,
Young
absolutely.
guys that they're foaming at the mouth
I like
to
that
win.
kind of team. They play with heart. I agree. Nico?
I would love to see Ajax win as well. They're a young team. They're making a great story. If they can't pass Tottenham, I hope Tottenham wins, because I do not want to see Liverpool win. I do not even more want to see Messi win, because I'm a Ronaldo boy. I don't want Messi to get another Champions League title. So I don't like Barcelona. To me, if I had to unbiased pick my winner, Barcelona wins. They look too strong, but I don't want to see Messi win.
You never know, though. Ajax
You never know. Ajax is looking
playing
good.
with heart. Dante, what's your prediction?
You know what? I agree with Nico here. Barcelona. It's just the form they're in right now. It's
Too
absolutely
good.
It's
incredible.
unbreakable.
And it's just it brings me back to those days with the Javi Nesta, the Tiki Taka. Like
Absolutely.
it's just. And even, I guess I could say a Ray Hudson line here. It's magisterial.
Absolutely. I agree.
Right?
So guys, thank you for joining us. This was another episode of the TFC Roundtable. I am super excited as a soccer fan. We've got so much exciting stuff happening. This summer we've got International Cup coming to North America, some big teams. We're going to talk about that on future episodes. We got Champions League to talk about, TFC, CPL. If you are a soccer fan, do not miss it. Thanks to Popeye's Woodbridge Supplements for sponsoring, and support this guy, TFC on the road. There's a road trip July 13th to Montreal. All the TFC fans got to be on that bus. We're going to go down and cause a ruckus.
We're all going. We're all going.
We will see you next time. Cheers.
It's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about control. And if you can take it, it's all about your set. And if you can play it, it's all about pain. And who's gonna make it?
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the TFC Roundtable. Today I'm joined by my co-hosts Nico and Dante. As usual, we're going to have a special guest coming on shortly, live. It's for a major announcement. You're going to be really excited when you hear this. All the TFC fans and soccer fans in the MLS won't want to miss this, so stay tuned because the announcement will be made shortly. But I want to thank all our sponsors first before we get to it. We got Popeye Supplements here in Woodbridge. For the best prices on supplements, visit Popeye Supplements. We got 9-round kickboxing and fitness. Visit Louis and Maple and Bond, 2 locations to serve you. And finally, our buddy Santiago from TFC on the road. We'll be visiting Montreal with him shortly in July for an away game. Make sure you get your seat. It's going to be incredible. So, guys, we're going to start off. There's a lot of stuff happening in Toronto sports, and I know this is a soccer show, but we got the Raptors on fire. We got all the soccer players in the house. I'm not sure if you saw Jovinko's been watching the playoffs here in Toronto. There have been a few other big-name soccer stars. Thierry Henry's been here, and a whole slew of other celebrities. What do you guys make of what's happening in Toronto? Because the excitement is palatable. It's incredible. Haven't felt something like this in a very long time. Can you imagine if Toronto wins? Dante, what do you think?
I love the energy right now, you know, it's unbelievable. Like, I mean, just to add to what you said, like, we had Thierry Henry in the house, like Patrice Evra, like all these celebrities are in Toronto, like this whole city has gone berserk, and it's just, I mean, considering how young I am, I haven't seen anything. Like, I wasn't even alive when the Jays won.
And that was nothing even closely in comparison to this.
Exactly. It's just, I've never seen such chaos downtown. Like,
Nico, were you down there?
I wanted to. The weather and work and everything made it impossible, but I made my way to a local bar, and even in there, it was just insane. Everywhere. Everyone's got the fever, you know? And how good of an audition is this for Toronto to bring in international prospects, even for TFC? Because you look at all the guys going to the games, you look at the guys invading Jurassic Park one night, like, they're having fun. So how good of a destination does Toronto look now because of this Raptors run for a team like Toronto?
It's an exciting city, and you know, you can see it. All the celebrities love coming here, and players are saying this is a phenomenal place to live and play. And you know, it's attracting international attention from all over the world. You even have pundits in England, Germany, China, Korea, Spain, all commenting on what's happening in Toronto. It's phenomenal. Now, we saw Toronto FC win an MLS Cup, obviously small in comparison to an NBA Finals, but we sort of saw what the excitement and what the fans in Toronto really crave, and that's quality sports, quality soccer, quality baseball, basketball, etc. And if we get a win here, it's going to be phenomenal for all Toronto sports. Do you agree?
100%. A win for Toronto. I mean, don't get me wrong. They should have won yesterday. Blowing that lead in the last 2 minutes could cost them in the long run. But a win for Toronto here is massive. It's massive.
Absolutely.
It takes away the worry of if Kawhi is going to re-sign, because you know what? You win one, don't be greedy.
Absolutely. He'll be back. They win, he's back for sure. I still think he's going to sign again for another year because they are that close. Whether they win or lose, I think he'll be back.
Guys, can I add something? The Raptors are worth
like a conventional 4-4-2.
A preferred formation by Arsene Wenger when he arrived at Arsenal.
Insane.
2 main strikers, 4 across the midfield.
Look what Kawhi led.
And in a short amount of time, 1995-96 was their inception. Within a quarter of a century, to go from $0 to $2 billion, just phenomenal. And you know what? You feel the excitement when you go to a game. Now, you know, you go to a basketball game, it's all about entertaining the crowd, getting the kids involved. You don't see that at a Maple Leafs game. You don't even see that at a TFC game. You wish you'd see more of that, but we only see it at a Raptors game, and I don't know why that is. They're owned by the same ownership team, so why is it that you go to a basketball game and it's so entertaining and fun and alive, and you got a DJ, and you go to a game, a baseball game, or you go to an Arbors game, or you go to a TFC game, you don't have that same excitement. What is it, Nico? What do you think?
Well, I think with basketball, it's a lot easier to inject incitement, because at a soccer game, you're playing 45 minutes non-stop. Basketball game, there's timeouts, there's officials timeouts, there's breakage in plays where they can do these exciting things. With soccer, you're going 45 minutes straight, then you have the halftime to do something, but then you're going another 45 minutes, then game over. You don't have that time to make it as exciting as you want, which is where supporters come in handy for soccer by screaming and chanting, and that's what makes it fun for the game. And when you're not performing, your supporters are a lot quieter. And that's when the game starts seeming like it's dragging a little bit when you're sitting there. As far as the Jays go, baseball's been one of the most boring sports in the world for the last 30 years. I mean,
still has a big following.
It has a huge following. I don't understand it. Like going to the game is exciting enough because you get some food a little bit maybe once a year, but oh my god. I can't even compare a Jays game to a Raptors game, Jays game to a TFC game even. It's totally different.
I was gonna say, like, the Raptors have like a bunch of dance teams as well. The halftime show, sometimes you'll get like a magician here and there. You'll get even at the I went to game 1 of the NBA Finals. We got a concert for halftime, right? ASAP Ferg. We got
and you
everyone.
got
It's entertainment.
you got big personalities. You got Drake, obviously, courtside, irritating everyone, making a spectacle of himself, but it draws attention. You got even the super fans, Nav Bada from the car dealership. Like that guy is there every day. He's high-fiving Drake. People are getting excited. So you got the personalities. We don't see that in soccer. Maybe we need to be there courtside, or we need to be there. We got to be the super fans, which is a possibility. One of the things that really blows my mind about what's happening with the basketball game is, I don't know if you guys noticed, the 50-50 draw is now national. You can buy 50-50 tickets all over. The last draw, someone won $500,000 on the 50-50 draw, which is insane, but it's phenomenal. I thought, why didn't anyone ever think about that before? Why did this just start now? So whoever came up with that on MLSE deserves a raise. Bill Manning, you need to talk to that guy. That was brilliant. And the money goes to charity, but at the end of the day, it's going to causes that are going to benefit local charities, and that's phenomenal.
I did purchase a ticket, by the way.
Good man.
There's two people at MLSE that deserve a raise. The person that figured out to put the 50-50 nationwide, and whoever invented the seat-to-your-seat ordering now on the TFC app when you're at the game, because I didn't get up once during the TFC game and then the Raptors game as well. I just kept opening up the app, another beer, and they just kept coming right to me. I didn't have to get up. It was beautiful. Give that person a raise, because I will be enjoying TFC games way more now.
Uber Eats at the TFC game. So guys, let's talk a little bit about what's happening with TFC on the field. They just acquired Omar Gonzalez, U.S. national team player. Came over from Club Pachuca in Mexico. Solid defender. I think Bradley had a hand in bringing him over. What do you guys think about that acquisition?
I love it. I mean, he's won 3 MLS Cups. He's won a CONCACAF Champions League. Like, the guy's got experience. He wasn't doing great in the Mexican League right now. I believe he's on loan to Atlas from Pachuca. He wasn't doing anything spectacular. But in the MLS, it's a different style of play than the Mexican League. He can still dominate. He's only 30 years old. He's 5 years younger than Drew Moore. If he can replace Drew Moore at what he brings on the field, then this is a massive signing. And don't forget, he is lethal in the box on set pieces.
Yeah, strong.
So you know what? Not only am I excited for that, I'm excited now because now we have Altidore, Bradley, and Gonzalez. 3 people that people in the United States hate the most from their last United Soccer runs. They can all cheer against us even more because I want that hate from all the American teams. So bring it on.
And there's some cohesion because obviously they know each other, they played with each other at the national level, and that's what we want. We want players who are basically cultivating, nurturing, and working with each other to develop and get better and better. And players who have played with each other in the past will be able to do that because there's that familiarity. Guys, what do you think about what's happening with our situation? We haven't won a game now. There's been a losing streak. We tied the last game. But at the end of the day, it's not looking too optimistic right now. What do we need to do to change things up to win a game?
Well, for starters, I mean, obviously,
not quite what he wanted to do with the pass.
Chances here. But I thought last game, you know, there was a lot. We were pressuring them a lot. Kansas City. I know they had 2 penalty shots,
but it can't get through.
One was especially questionable, and I just, you know, we're getting there, but at the same time, I just don't think we have the players, and you know, we might just have to wait.
So when you say we don't have the players, you're talking about the strikers, the forwards. You're talking about you got Hamilton up there. So what do you think we need to do to improve that chemistry? We need to make some changes. Is there someone off the bench that we could bring on? They've been trying to bring on Boyd. They've been playing Boyd. They had Hamilton on as well. Doesn't seem to really be clicking.
That's the thing. We're not gelling right now, obviously. I mean, and everyone can see that.
Well, let's look at this again. Magical football on the break. Surprise is the key, and then the finish couldn't be simpler, really. Given far too much time and space inside the box, and he doesn't even have to get up in the end. Just nonchalantly heads it past the keeper.
We'll see. Hopefully it gets better, but I mean,
blistering first half display, and just look at that score.
So is it finally becoming pretty obvious that Jovinko was more of an asset than maybe we thought he was? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, yes and no. Well, of course, Giovinco 2-3 years ago was that's what we're missing. Right. But even last year, he was still there. We were still having these same problems. I think the MLS landscape is changing.
Tremendous challenge.
In a sense that teams are getting more chippier, more not smart, but they're playing a different style of game than they were playing even 3 years ago. Now they're going after them more. They're chipping at Pozuelo a lot. They're chipping at our strikers a lot. I mean, it's getting to be a dirtier game.
So is it a dirtier game just in MLS or worldwide? Because I got to tell you something. I've been watching a little bit of European Cup qualifying. And the quality of play for me, the development of soccer over the last decade has been phenomenal. It's been monumental. You see the level of play at a heightened pace. Physicality's improved, technicality's improved. But it seems like we're sort of going backwards with MLS. Why is that? Like you said, they're getting chippier, getting dirtier. They're going after designated players, which shows me that there's a lack of respect for high caliber players.
Well, that's why I think you have players that are nowhere near the level of skill as a Pozuelo, as a Carlos Vela, and they, in their mind, okay, I don't have the skill on them. I gotta beat them mentally. How do you beat them mentally? You run at me, I'm taking your legs. You're not gonna run at me again, right? So they're trying to beat them mentally, and that cheapens the game, and that makes it so unappealing for big names to come over here and play. So it's very unfortunate. I feel like they need to do something to fix this. I mean, people have come out and spoken about it already in the league,
but
saying
sometimes we have to do it for understandable reasons.
Just to confirm, the Colorado Rapids did score in that game, such a talent gap between a midfielder on the San Jose Earthquakes and Pozuelo. It is.
Absolutely, no doubt. Although big name players still want to come to the state. We just saw it recently with Daniele De Rossi from Roma. I believe signing with LA. So what is going on? Why are these players continuously coming out to the MLS if the level of play is not at par with obviously Europe or South America or other parts of the world?
I just think they want the American experience, like overseas, especially. I know, especially my relatives from Italy, like they're obsessed with whether it's New York or Chicago or LA or these massive
well,
cities.
Here it is again, and it's all about the American experience.
Exactly.
They were so quick to get out from the back, and when he gets through to the keeper, he just smashes it past him and gives him no chance to think. Lovely finish.
Now Miami Internacional, which is owned by David Beckham, is starting to draw some players, and we're starting to hear a lot of rumors about who could possibly be joining his side.
Money talks too, right? De Rossi is a great player, but he's old.
Right.
But look at the early days when the MLS Tour TFC started. It was all the older guys who were once superstars that weren't making that much money anymore because of their age came here to still make that money.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying we'll keep attracting those older, before retirement stars. It's still hard now because China and Saudi Arabia and everyone's trying to grab them too. But we're still trying to grab them as well.
We can take another look at this. There's nothing much the keeper can do.
Who is still
Close range finish, really good play.
He
doesn't miss from there.
It's going to be very hard.
Unless
from a different
money,
angle.
like you said, money talks, and we start paying these guys the big bucks, because I think that'll override level of play, quality, et cetera, et cetera. As long as you're paying these guys, they will be drawn to the U.S., Canada to play in the MLS.
Now, my biggest worry as well is if they get sold, right? So, for example, Almiron in Atlanta going to Newcastle, right?
Totaling up all the stoppages, we'll have 2 additional minutes.
Possibility as well.
A bit sloppy in possession.
Soccer is a business, buying and selling players.
Exactly.
It's been done in Europe forever. You got a lot of the Portuguese clubs, Sporting, Benfica, who have developed great players, the likes of Ronaldo, sold them and made a business out of it. So we could possibly start seeing that happen here in MLS.
But it's hard in MLS, right? Because all the sales go to the league. It doesn't go, only a percentage goes to the team.
From the point of view
like
of the
whole
home
sales,
side,
like let's say you sell Almiron for
well, Derek, playing as a defender for this lot must be
Atlanta only gets a percentage of that. They don't even get those. So what is the incentive for them to sell?
Yeah.
I think MLS needs to give the teams the ownership of the players and let them sell and make their money to better their clubs.
Yep.
If you develop a player, you deserve to profit from it. You don't deserve to help San Jose profit. You don't deserve to help Chicago Fire profit.
Although the profit sharing in the league sustained that league in 1994.
Yes,
when
it
started
was needed. It was needed.
At that time, it was definitely needed. If you didn't have a profit sharing system, most of those teams would have been bankrupt. And a lot of teams did. Miami had a team.
I still think some teams in the league would be bankrupt right now if we didn't have profit sharing.
His opponent fly by.
Columbus would be one of them. Colorado could be one of them. Like, there's a lot of teams that need that as well. I get it. But you're not going to grow as a league if you still play by the rules.
Agreed. Okay, guys, it's time for us to bring on a caller right now. We've got a special announcement. So what I'd like to do is make this call right now, because we're going to announce something epic that's never been done on this podcast before. Got a very special guest, and we're going to hear this announcement right now. Okay, guys, live on the phone right now, we have one of our TFC Roundtable members, Mr. Mario Pileggi. Mario, welcome to the podcast. I know you couldn't be here. You got big responsibilities at home, but, you know, daycare and babysitting, that stuff doesn't fly here on TFC Roundtable, but we'll let it slide this time, okay?
Tony, I really appreciate it on behalf of my family
Inspire and have been very active in the transfer. Real chance.
No problem. And I love that guy's hair, man. Keep up the good work with that.
We're really being spoiled. This is attacking football at its finest.
There you go. So, Mario, in all seriousness, we got a lot of big news for the TFC Roundtable podcast. Some amazing, exciting news. I want to tell all the followers you've been working on this for the last month, and we finally have some exciting news to tell all our followers. Actually, we've got 3 major announcements. We're going to announce 2 of them today, and then we're going to have 1 major announcement coming up in the next week or so. But I'd like you to announce what you have and what you're available to release today for all the people who watch the TFC Roundtable.
Okay, perfect, Tony. So listen up, everybody. The most important thing that's going to be dropped, you're going to love it. It's going to be huge and a major announcement that's going to be dropped at our
On the ball, Felipe.
next week, so make sure you tune in. Right now, the 2 most important things that we're going to discuss is our website is
Just looking for the right moment for that final pass. How about the cross?
We're also now
This looks promising. Terrific block there. Well, that's gone out, and it is going to be a goal kick.
iTunes podcast. Subscribe now for your chance to win free games. And we're not talking about nosebleed tickets, Tony. Tell them exactly what kind of tickets they're going to be getting.
Right behind the TFC bench, guys. So follow us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. We are now officially on those 3 social media networks. Make sure you follow us because you have a chance of winning amazing seats, literally right behind the TFC bench, where you can shake hands with the players, and players do give you attention. Amazing players like Terrence Boyd comes up, shakes your hand. You're not going to get that experience anywhere else. Make sure you follow us. Go to our website and follow us on Spotify, Google Play, and Apple iTunes. And Mario, I know we got some other exciting news that you want to let everyone know about, so thanks again for getting that and putting that together. Mario worked super hard to get us onto iTunes, and he spent the better of a month to getting us on there, so thanks, Mario, for doing that. And our next major announcement, we're going to be doing something live. You want to tell us about that?
It's gone in, and well, he might celebrate on the back of that.
Another big one. Come join us on the 26th of June, live at the Atlanta game. The TFC Roundtable.
Well, we can take another look at this. There's nothing much the keeper can do. Close range finish, really good play, and he doesn't miss from there.
You make sure that you're going to be there. We're going to be
The ball rolling again in what has been an utterly one-sided match.
But you got to be there.
Guys,
You have to be here watching us at the podcast to have your chance to win the tickets.
Absolutely. So you heard that here, guys. Make sure you follow us and make sure that you come and see us. We're going to be broadcasting live from the Wall of Honor at BMO Field. The whole TFC Roundtable crew will be there filming live. We're going to be answering questions. We're going to be talking to fans. It's going to be incredible. We're the first and only TFC podcast to do that. It's going to be epic, and you got to be there to win the 2 seats. Basically, right behind the TFC bench.
Well,
amazing seats, you can't beat them.
Move to evade the
Mario.
defender, and then through on goal. You never really had any doubt he was going to slot that away. Good finish.
The Waterboy Report and to Nico on the Roundtable podcast. Without these 2 guys who have been helping out tirelessly because they've been really helping out with the accreditation process, gotta give them a quick shout out. We really appreciate all the work that you're doing, and big things are coming. Just stay tuned and make sure that you subscribe and download the podcast.
Beautiful pass.
Really amazing things.
Absolutely, absolutely. We also want to thank our buddy Dante and the real Marco G for always being there for the podcast and being hardcore supporters of local soccer and TFC. So, guys, make sure you join us. It's going to be a live podcast. It's going to be incredible. You get a chance to win some amazing seats. That's amazing news. And I know we got another major announcement, which we can't release today, but we're going to do it on the next podcast. Can you give us a hint on what that's going to be, Mario?
Can they hit on the break?
I'll give you just a little hint. It's going to be somebody that's really
Continues his run.
influential within the TFC family. Just
Adiola.
believe me when I tell you.
Can he play it in?
Absolutely. Guys, this is big and epic, and for a podcast like ours, which is a fairly new podcast, we've got a guest that's going to blow your mind, and we've been ranting and raving about possibly buying TFC and, changing up the organization, and we've been heard, and we've got this major guest that we're going to announce next week. and you're going to hear it here first. And if you are a soccer fan, MLSC fan, if you are a Toronto FC fan, you can't wait to hear this announcement. We're actually going to do a live taping where we're going to have a live studio audience and an after party. So this is big. This is going to be epic, and possibility of having some TFC players here for that podcast as well. Right, Mario?
An incisive pass.
All right. Thanks a lot. We'll let you get back to your babysitting. I know it's important, hard work. So keep up the good work, my friend. All right. Thank you, Mario. Take care. All right. Okay, that was Mario Pileggi from TFC Roundtable. Okay, guys, so a lot of exciting stuff happening here at the TFC Roundtable. Just before we wrap up, we've got to give a quick shout-out to the Canadian women's soccer team played at the World Cup in France. Nico, they pulled off something pretty monumental. They are looking really hot, I got to tell you. What do you think about their chances are of winning this World Cup, this Women's World Cup?
You know what? I'm not going to lie. It's not looking good chance-wise if you look at the odds. However, screw the odds.
Absolutely.
I'm all in. They looked good their first game. They won the game they needed to win. They won 1-0. I mean, they could have capitalized a little bit more on their chances.
For sure. But
gorgeous
it's
goal.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous goal.
In the air, header, incredible.
Gorgeous goal. But you know what? Game one. The big game's coming up, though. Not next game, the game after against the Netherlands. That's their big test. If they can get past that, they have a chance.
Sky's the limit. And you know what? I saw them play live against Mexico at BMO just before going to the World Cup. I got to tell you, the quality of play. I enjoyed that game probably more than most MLS games. The ladies were phenomenal, and I'm really enjoying this World Cup. A lot of quality players in this World Cup. I'm wishing Canada the best of luck. I hope the ladies do it. And I know that there is a chance that they could win it all. They've got the leadership there, Christine Sinclair.
And you know what? So yeah, you know what, Canada, you did great, but I got to give the finger of shame to the American women's team. You score 13 goals against Thailand, that's fine. Score as many as you want. When you score goal number 9 and you're celebrating like you just won the World Cup, come on now, that's like if we saw Real Madrid face Toronto FC and celebrate every single goal they score after 5-0. It's a joke. You've been there before.
The only thing is, Nico, I got to disagree with you. I think when you're down, you got to kick them. This is pro sports. It's not House League soccer. If you're winning 13-0, you need to win 14-0. They're down, get them.
I agree.
Don't give up. No mercy. It's pro soccer.
No,
At the end of the day, I don't give a shit because we say, you know what? You got to have a mercy rule. No mercy rule is the World Cup. No mercy. 13-0 should be 14-0.
Foot on the throat, keep scoring. But when you score your 9th goal and you got your girl on her back kicking her legs in the air like she just scored the game winner, that's embarrassing.
Yeah,
score 15, score 16, score 17.
It's embarrassing for Thailand because they should stick to martial arts and not soccer. It's not a soccer country. No disrespect to the Thai people, but you know what? Every country specializes in a sport, whether people like it or not. Nobody wants to say it. Italians specialize in soccer. Okay, they don't specialize in sports that are popular in other countries like Canada. They're not curlers. Go ask Italians if they're curlers. There's no Italians curling. They could never win at curling. So if Italy plays Canada, Canada's going to win 13-0. I don't even know how you score curling, but it doesn't make a difference. So stick to the sports you know. That's my final thought. Dante,
unable to bend his run offside.
I mean, you guys said a lot there, but I got to say here, you know, I'm so proud of this Canadian women's team, and I know with Christine Sinclair and her leadership, we're going to go very far.
They're giving them too much space.
We're going right to the finals. We're going to march right to the finals. We're going to win that damn thing. We have to. We have to.
Before we go to, shout out to York 9 FC Ryan Telford coming up for a TFC game and grabbing an assist on the game-tying goal.
Yep.
So you're telling me that guy could come in, put in an assist, and he should be on York 9 while we have Marky Delgado still up here?
Absolutely.
Really?
No, that's a great point, and I agree
look
with
at
you.
it again. I do
the only one thing I can say is maybe the CPL could be a farm system for the MLS where you can bounce players back and forth, develop them, or players injured, you put them down, you bring them up.
I didn't know that was allowed, that you could just call up on a loan quick, so that's huge. That's huge, especially now with Gold Cup going on. That's
right. Exactly. So shout out to Team Canada men's team. You got the Gold Cup coming up, and you know, a lot of confidence there. I was watching a little documentary, a little bio, and Osorio was saying how this team has gelled, and you're going to see a different Team Canada. So we'll see if that's true or not, but he's saying that you will never have seen a Team Canada like this one in the last 20 years.
They're not content just being there anymore.
That's right.
They want to win.
Who do they play? Martinique, I believe?
Yeah, hey, listen, you know, CONCACAF is made up of small countries, little island countries, 3,000 people, islands. Okay, so it's not going to be that difficult for Canada to come through because, you know, the only three big guns in all of CONCACAF are really Mexico, USA, and Canada. Jamaica usually does well. Sometimes you got Costa Rica, Panama.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the big guns should be Canada, USA, and Mexico. They got the resources to develop their players and pay them. So we should see Canada fare well. Let's see if Osorio's right and this team gels.
That's a good news for us too. We got Mexico in our group.
Yep.
So if we could finish second in our group
just
or
grab a minute
first if
at
we
a
can get
time
past
for a few
Mexico, either way,
questions.
we're avoiding Mexico in the next round. So
You got it.
beauty.
Fantastic.
Yep.
All right, good luck to all the Canadian teams. Good luck to TFC. Stay tuned. We got some major announcements. Like I said, we're going to be broadcasting live from BMO.
Thanks, that's all
It's
the
going to be incredible. Make sure you're there for your chance to win 2 seats, 2 front row seats, right behind the TFC bench. Be there or be square. Go soccer. Go Canada soccer. We'll see you next time on the TFC Roundtable.
Don't forget to follow us on Apple Music, Spotify,
right.
Google Play. Follow the podcast all along there if you can't watch it on YouTube.
You got it. Take care, guys.
Take care. Hi everyone, we are live here at Vaughan Sportsplex 2. I'm your host Dante DeTomasis, and tonight we'll be under the Toe Knows Everything podcast family. Will be known as the Soccer Report. Moving on, I'm here alongside my co-host Nico.
Hey Dante, thank you for having me on again. This is very exciting, the first episode of the Soccer Report. I want to give a quick shout out to all our sponsors, Popeyes Supplements in Vaughan, TFC on the road, which we just came back from the Montreal trip, and it was crazy. Guys, you don't want to miss it. If TFC on the road is having trips again, you want to be on that bus. And also 9-round kickboxing. You guys want to get some good workouts in, make sure you check them out. Now Dante, as everyone can see, we got some pretty dope guests on today, so why don't you take it away?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right over to my right, we have starting right back for Toronto FC, Richie Larea. We have starting left back of Forge FC, Kwame Awua. And of course, to complete the Sigma trio, we have Christian Samaniego. Gentlemen, how are you guys?
Good, man. Very good.
It's good. We're so happy to have you here.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming on. This is huge.
Thank you for inviting us, guys. Appreciate it.
Oh man. So our first question will go to Richie. Richie, just tell us the difference between. Well, first off, we won't talk about Saturday.
No, we don't talk about Saturday. Richie didn't even play, man. We're not talking about Saturday.
We're on to Cincinnati, okay? We're on to Cincinnati. So basically, I just want to get your opinion on the difference between Orlando and Toronto, just in terms of lifestyle and training and family, things like that.
Yeah, of course. The biggest thing is the weather between the two places. That's the key. But
well, Toronto's better, right? Like,
yeah, Toronto for sure. Just 2 different clubs. Toronto's been around for a while, a lot longer than Orlando has. So you see that the front office, the guys upstairs are doing a good job. Obviously, the team's coming off MLS Cup final in 2016, then winning it in 2017. So the team's clearly doing the right thing. So I think it's a good club. It's a team that's going to stay good for years and years to come. So I just think it's probably one of the top ones in the MLS without a doubt. And then obviously you have Orlando City. That's a new club, but I think it's still an exciting project with a lot of good players there as well. So they just have some sorting to do, and I'm sure they'll be fine as well.
Well, Richie, too, I want to touch upon your time in Orlando a little bit because, I mean, as a kid from Canada, you grow up, you watch soccer, all that, you play soccer. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but in your first MLS game, you subbed in for Kaká, right? Like, that's crazy. He's a Ballon d'Or winner. When did it switch in your head from the mentality of, okay, now these guys aren't just guys I watch anymore, these are my rivals, these are my teammates, these are guys I compete against on that daily. What's that mindset like now?
Obviously it changed. You go from college where it's a little bit more friendly but still has that competitive edge, but once you get to the pros you see that guys are a little bit more cutthroat in the things they do in terms of performances, training habits, the way they eat, stuff like that. So that's when you see all the guys around you are not rivals, but I would say you're competing with guys for spots. So obviously it's nice. It was amazing to be playing with Kaká for the 2 years that I got to, or the year and a half that I got to. But I think he's obviously a top player. He's a Ballon d'Or winner, like you said. So it's someone you can learn from and take things from.
Awesome. And for the most part, I mean, I always wanted to ask you this: how does it feel like playing in front of friends and family?
It's amazing. Obviously, I'm from here. All these guys are from here. They have similar. When you come back from college, you get to play in front of your parents, your whatever girlfriend, friends. It's nice. Obviously, when we're away, it's a little bit lonelier because you don't really know anyone. No one one's really blood, no one's really friends from the past. So it's definitely it's more homey. Like it's just comfortable to be playing here, you know. So
I'm gonna switch over to Kwame. You know, you started in New York City. Big team. Now you're in the first year of the CPL with Forge. And by the way, congratulations on the win on the weekend.
Thank you.
That third goal. Oh my God.
I didn't
Dude,
I
beautiful.
didn't draw it up, but
Hey, listen,
my guy Cadell.
it's not how you draw it up, it's if it goes in, and that went in, and oh my God, that goal was the thing of beauty. Everyone's talking about Aparicio's goal from 2 weeks ago. I don't care. I don't want to hear about that anymore. Goal of the season is that third goal in that game.
He's dancing. He put on his dancing shoes.
So what are some differences you can tell right away about MLS and CPL? Obviously, MLS has been around longer. This is the first year of the CPL, but Canadian soccer is starting to get on the right track.
Yeah.
What do you see in your first year of the CPL so far?
I definitely see that there's a lot of quality. There's a lot of quality players. Some of the guys that have played in MLS, some of the guys that have played at the highest level have come back home to play, obviously maybe to get more minutes or maybe for a new adventure. And I think that's important for Canada soccer, for guys to be playing more. For guys that are Canadian to be playing in Canada, just like how Americans in MLS get a lot of leeway in the MLS because they're American. But essentially, I think everybody at first was was questioning the quality, trying to see is it going to be competitive, or is there going to be like one or two teams that is just going to dominate the whole league? But as you can see, we don't have a lot of teams, but you play against the same teams like 3-4 times, and the fact that you're able to consistently beat the same team and you have to change your game plan all the time, it shows a lot from the players and the quality of the coaching staff as well. So, I mean, for the first year, they're doing well. There's a lot of exposure, and I think once there's more money pumped into it, it's only going to get better. It's only 1 year in, and it's doing pretty well. They're able to pay guys decent salaries, some guys decent salaries, so it's only going to go up from here.
Well, yeah, like you said, it is 1 year in, and I want to touch upon too because you're in Hamilton, right? The fan base in Hamilton, they're passionate. Like we were talking before, like they're yellow and black at every game, even though you guys are orange, because they picked the color scheme before the jerseys were even announced, right? What's it like playing in front of those fans, and how passionate are they if people can't see it on TV?
I mean, it's crazy because like you have TFC that's like 45 minutes to an hour away, but there's a lot of people that are from Hamilton that really represent Hamilton. They don't really care about Toronto. Like they strictly Hamilton Tiger Cats, Hamilton, the Badgers.
They don't like Toronto. They don't like Toronto. They don't affiliate
They don't
themselves
affiliate
at all.
themselves with Toronto. Like they don't say they're part of the GTA. Right? Like Hamilton's a separate entity from Toronto. So I mean, just that in general, they have their own soccer team. There's a lot of youth soccer teams out there, and they're able to come to all the games and cheer us on. And the passion's there. Like the first game, there was like 20,000 people, and you see it from the start. And it's only going to get better, and as long as we keep winning, the fans are going to keep, and we score goals like we did this weekend, the fans are going to keep coming.
Yeah, for sure. That goal's going to be all over the place every week, I'm telling you.
And I think things like that, like it just shows the quality of the league and the quality of Canadian players.
Yep. Okay, Kwame, moving on to Christian. Christian, basically, we've grown up together. We've watched, these two gentlemen here absolutely kill it. What's it like playing with these guys?
Well, I played with them for the majority of my life, about, I don't know, say like 10 years or so, since we were about 12 until we all went off to college. Playing with them, it just made the game for me, when I was playing, a lot easier. Playing with...
He's lying, yo. It's opposite way around, yo. Playing with him made the game a lot easier for me and Rich.
So playing with them, it just pushed me and my other teammates at whichever team that we were a part of to get better. We always wanted to match their level, and these two guys are really good at small details that a lot of kids now or a lot of players don't really take into consideration. So, and they're very, very easy, outgoing guys. So even off the field, it's very comfortable to be around them, and I'm sure you know that too. So it made everything just a lot.
Yeah, for everyone that doesn't know, Dante played with all these guys as well. The host of the Soccer Report, he played with these guys too, so he knows what he's talking about. Me, not so much. I played House League. But no, so guys, what we want to talk about too is 2026 World Cup is coming up. Now, Canada it's looking like they're going to get their own in because we're hosting it, right? So that's big. That's why the CPL coming up is huge. But what I kind of want to talk about right now is the next World Cup. 2022. I don't know if you guys have heard or if anyone else has heard the new rules on qualifying with the Hex. You don't qualify anymore again in the Hex. It's just the top 6 ranked in the world get in, which I think is terrible because you got El Salvador, you got Panama and Honduras ranked ahead of Canada, and I think Canada wipes the floor with them every day. And also John Herdman, if you're watching, Richie Larea, he's in the team. We beat Haiti, all right? Like, it's no question. It's no question. But what I'm saying is, like, we deserve to be in that Hex. I think we are top 3, top 4 in CONCACAF Canada right now. What are your guys' opinion on the new qualifying? I know there's still a chance for teams that are ranked 7 to 35th in CONCACAF to get in there, but it's a lot harder than being in the top 6. What do you guys think about that? Anyone can field that question.
Honestly, I just read up on that. The whole scheme of like the 7 to 35 rank is really difficult for guys to get into the Hex. Like, it's almost nearly impossible. There's a lot of games to play, and meanwhile guys are at their clubs playing. You're gonna be playing multiple games with your country and multiple games with your club. It's like it's climbing an uphill battle. It's like an uphill battle. So I mean, Canada, in my opinion, top 3 team in CONCACAF, but honestly I think there's a lot.
How's it going, everyone? We are live from Vaughan Sportsplex 2 with another edition of the Soccer Report podcast. I'm your host, Dante Di Tomasis, alongside my co-host, Nico.
I'm Nico. I'm back at it. We want to give a big thank you to our sponsors. TFC on the road again, the best trips in town. Get on that bus. It's a party the whole day. I also want to thank 9 Round Kickboxing and, of course, Popeye Supplements in Woodbridge. All the best supplements, one place. Just hit up Popeye Supplements in Woodbridge and they'll take care of you. Tell them the Soccer Report sent you.
Before we start, we got to give a big shout out to Richie Larea. Richie, congratulations on your first call-up in Canadian men's soccer. First of many. And we wish you all the best on September 7th. Get your tickets now at BMO Field for that game. That's September 7th.
We called it on this podcast. We said Richie's getting called up, and sure enough, here we are. But now today, we got another guest on, don't we?
Oh, yeah, and he's a very good player as well. He's on loan from TFC, and he's with York 9. He's Ryan Telfer. Ryan, thank you for coming.
No problem, man.
Thanks for having us. So, to start, we're going to ask you a simple question. We just wanted to know, what are your first impressions of the CPL going on?
You know what it is? It took me by surprise, to be honest. Getting to understand the type of players that was coming in, mostly Canadian players, giving them an opportunity and shot of what being a professional is. And you know, so far I've been impressed on what it has become. You know, recently seeing Kaduchi being called up for the men's national team is a huge thing for the league, and you know, this is what the league has been trying to provide to show that, you know, players, our very own homegrown players here in Canada, have the ability to play at the highest level, and you know, shout at them. And you know, there are many other players who will be selected further on in the future. And, you know, that's what the CPL is all about, and it's getting there.
Well, and a big moment too for those that don't know, Mr. Ryan Telfer has gone down in history as the first player to ever score a goal in the CPL history. It'll always be there. The very first goal in the history of the league. That's Mr. Ryan Telfer of York 9 FC. How awesome was that moment?
You know what? It's a once-in-a-lifetime moment. You know, on the field at that point in time, it didn't really, I guess, kicked in yet that, you know, it was the first goal of a new league. It's only until after seeing all the comments and stuff like that, it really sank in, and it's like, you know what, this could be a once-in-a-lifetime moment. And, you know, I was happy to have it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. You'll always be there in the history books. And like you said, you know, CPL, I think, has taken a lot of people by storm.
Yep.
I mean, you guys have competed with MLS quality teams. York 9, you guys should have taken Montreal in York. Montreal got lucky.
Yep.
You guys had that game. I was there. You guys dominated. Cavalry took out Vancouver. You guys have proven that you belong in talks with the best teams in Canada. How does that feel when you see that, when you compete against an MLS team, which people will say is a higher up league, and you show that you guys deserve to be there with that?
You know what? It's all about showcasing yourself and showcasing what you're able to bring to the table. You know, there's a lot of doubters out there seeing that, you know, CPL is a new league. It's the same thing as how other people observe MLS. They see it as a retirement league and whatnot, but in recent years you have players who have made the leap across, like Alfonso Davies, Almiron, and they're making big waves in Europe. And you know, it's going to be the same thing in CPL. These first couple games against Montreal and Vancouver, it shocked everyone, and people realized that CPL is a very good league and is indeed here to stay. And I'm just happy to be in one of those games to represent the CPL under that logo and be able to push our MLS team to their limits. So I was really happy for that.
And being a TFC player on loan, was it a little extra sweet to score the goal against Montreal to tie the game 2-2? First of all, it was a beautiful goal. If you haven't seen the goal, look at the highlights. He just put a rocket into the net. But was it a little bit sweeter scoring against Montreal?
You know what? I didn't really consider the rivalry deep down inside. It was all about, we had to score a goal. We had to make something out of it. Try to get a result at home. And it just happened in that manner.
Okay, so Ryan, basically, we want to get your thoughts as well on from you being recalled in June.
Yeah.
You came in, you played a game against Kansas City. You came in around, I believe, the 85th minute. We definitely needed a result there.
Down 2-1. Down
2-1.
It's a big time.
We get that goal at the end there. What is going through your head?
It wasn't something that I really, I guess, really looked into myself before going on the field. Greg was like, Ryan, we really need a result here. Do what you do best. So I went on, knowing guys. I've never played with Pazuello. I've seen him play. I've watched all the TFC games. I've seen him play the entire time. I've seen what he's capable of. And being able to play with a player of that caliber, it allows me to express myself a little bit more. Being able to make that run and knowing that he was able to pick that pass.
Well, yeah, he was the one who chipped it right over, put it right in front. You made a beautiful run, and then set up Hamilton for the finish. I mean, but that's followed you throughout your whole career.
Yeah.
You're an impact player. When you get on the pitch, things happen. I mean, you played for less than 10 minutes, and you assisted on the goal that tied the game. Like, things happen when you're on the pitch. It's amazing to watch. As a fan, too, it's awesome to see.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why TFC sent me on loan. They wanted me to be that confidence player, a person who's able to change the game at any moment, and that loan to York 9 is what really needed me to push me over the edge and become that type of player, become some people regard as a designated player in MLS. And that's basically how I look at it for York 9. I'm supposed to be one of those leaders on a team, supposed to be able to make an impact in almost every single game. So I try to keep high standards for myself, and I try to reach that level.
That's good. Well, too, to keep on the topic of CPL, it's been 1 year right now. It's the second part of the first full season right now in the fall season. It's hard to kind of develop rivalries in 1 year.
Yeah.
So when you see a team like Forge FC, who tonight's playing in Honduras in the CONCACAF tournament to get into Champions League, now do you kind of have a mindset of, I kind of hope they don't go far, so that way we can go far next year's York? Or do you kind of see them and you know what, and you go, I hope they succeed, I hope they go as far as they can?
No, it's just seeing them basically ride the banner for CPL. Honestly, we wish them all the best and we hope they could make it to the end. Just the same thing as us during the Canadian Champions League. All the other CPL teams are rooting for us and Calgary to be the MLS Giants. It's going to be the same thing for them. I honestly hope they go to Honduras, get a result tonight, and make it to the next round.
Big shout out to Kwame Awua. I mean, he was previously on our podcast, and we wish him all the best down there. And all the current success that Forge is going on right now. They're on an absolute tear.
They're going to get a result tonight. Yep. All they need is a tie.
That's
tie puts them through, they're going to get that tie.
0-0. Empty stadium, I heard as well.
Yeah, there's a big issue that happened down in Honduras last week during a derby match. I'm pretty sure 6 people got stabbed during the game.
It was a very interesting location.
Yeah, it's kind of scary to be going down there as a Canadian to go play in a game like that. But with hostile environment, that's a part of the game, right?
Exactly.
All right, Ryan, so you said you've watched the TFC games this year, right? How would you describe their season so far? Because, I mean, we are the soccer report, but we are real focused on Toronto FC because that is the team, as well as now CPL is here. What is your opinion on this year's TFC team? Because there's a lot of difference of opinions you can find out there right now. So what do you feel about the team this year?
You know what? It's been a real roller coaster ride for them. They started off the season well, picking up win over who are the current leaders in the East right now, Philly.
Oh, Philly, yeah. Game one they took one, yeah.
A couple bad results coming on after that. But unfortunately, some things didn't go the way. They had the Gold Cup break where they lost a couple of huge players. They had to play games with all those huge players, and for a few games they made some results about that. And coming back for those guys, it's been up and down sort of type of game for them. You know, one game they go up, they win in, then sometimes it could be a last minute goal or something goes wrong, either a referee decision or whatnot. I know it's to tie the game or lose the game for them, but honestly, seeing what they are right now and their previous game against Montreal, they're really starting to pick up things. They're really starting to be confident in themselves, and honestly, you see them making a push and making the MLS playoffs.
That's what we've been saying this whole time, is that it's a tale of two teams this year, essentially. You have the one Toronto FC that goes out and looks like they could beat any single team on the pitch in MLS, and then you have another Toronto FC that comes out and looks like they wouldn't be able to beat anyone in the MLS. It's two different teams, and we're really hoping that the first team comes out and plays the rest of the season, and it looks like you're right. It looks like they've turned that corner in the last few games. They've looked a lot better, so it looks good for us. But you know what, Ryan, back to you. We want to know what in your head would be the best case scenario for you at the end of this season. When the loan runs out at York 9, you get put back to Toronto FC. Do you want to stay in Toronto and kind of make a run at making the team? Would you like another year at York, or is there something else on your mind completely?
Honestly, it hasn't been on my mind recently or lately. Right now, the main focus is all about York 9 FC. Trying to make the best out of it, trying to make that championship match come to the end of October. But I haven't really put much thought when it comes to season end. You know, TFC holds my faith in their hands when they make a decision come year end, and whether that is to pick up the option or not, that's totally up to them. But the only part that I could do is improve myself as a soccer player, and I know no matter where I'm going to be for next year, is that I'm trying to go and make that next push to further improve myself and trying to make a mark for whatever team I play for.
It's the right attitude to have, really.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're right. You can't really look too far. You still got the fall season going right now. York 9's making a push, right? Like, they're looking good. You guys have a chance. You got to keep going. Cavalry slipped a little bit lately, so there's opening at the top. And with Forge playing all these games in the CONCACAF League, they're going to be short team too for the playing in the fall season. There's a good shot for you guys, so all the best in that. And then I know we want to talk about the fans too in the CPL, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I wanted to talk about, basically, I was at that Forge game against CD Olympia, and it was last week, and I couldn't believe the turnout. They had a great turnout, and I constantly want to encourage people to keep showing up to the CPL. I want this league to do extremely well, and you know what, to build a brand in Canada. And you know, it's so important for players like Ryan as well to get that environment that they need to play. And
well, yeah, too. Like when I was at the York 9 Montreal game, they had that section of the fans too that were going wild the whole game. That's all you could hear. Like you had I was sitting closer to the Montreal fans, but all I could hear was York 9s in the corner going insane. What's it like playing in front of these crowds in Canada? Because soccer has never been the biggest sport in Canada, but it's getting it there. A lot of people are getting on the soccer train. So what's it like playing in front of these Canadian fans as opposed to last year when you played in front of MLS crowds?
The whole fact is that, you know, you're playing in front of soccer enthusiasts. Almost every single person there, majority soccer opinionated fans. And you know, just being able to be on the field and being able to express yourself and make them happy that, you know, they are in this environment, being able to entertain them as fans, because that's what they came out to see. You know, moving across the MLS, they have everything is much bigger. Obviously, in MLS they have bigger crowds, bigger stadiums and whatnot. But so far, the majority of games have been, especially in Calgary and Halifax, the crowds they draw are almost back to capacity. You know, it's almost, the stadium could hold a maximum of 5,000, close to 8,000, and these stadiums are absolutely ramped. So imagine what it could become in the following years when these stadiums have to expand. What's the threshold for the amount of fans? So so far it's been absolutely brilliant. You know, the fans who come out. I know we have a tougher end on our side because I know majority of our games sometimes play on a Toronto FC night. When they have a home game, but still the York 9 fans still manage to come out and they have an absolute blast, and I'm just happy to entertain them almost every single night I'm on that field.
That's good. That's good.
Well, Ryan, we'd like to thank you for your time.
We got more, man. Let's keep
We
that
got
for
more?
questions.
You know what? Let's keep it
You know what?
going.
For all our CPL fans out there, let's get some quick CPL stuff going in. What's the best stadium to play in the CPL you've played in so far, not including York? Because I know you got a soft spot in your heart for York. What stadium so far? I mean, my favorite from a looks perspective has been Cavalry's. That cottage look, like it looks very nice on TV.
Kind of like Fulham.
It's yes. So which
Never been to Fulham.
which place have you played in the CPL is the nicest stadium? Do you think?
Nicest stadium in terms of field or like the whole atmosphere?
The whole atmosphere.
I really like Halifax.
Yeah?
Really like Halifax.
Wow.
They have a super supportive section. When we were playing there, it sucks because everybody knows my name. They see that trophy me the whole game.
Yeah, you were getting the whole game for sure then.
That's awesome.
But if you are a Halifax player, it must be so lovely to play there. And you know the whole stadium, I love the grass. The feel is pretty good. Yeah, I like Halifax.
Yeah, that's good. And you know, you too with York 9. York 9's got a lot of good players right now. You know, Ingham and Net's a great keeper. You know, Gatas. I went out because the game at York 9 in Montreal too. And Gatas came on right there. Then he made a huge difference in the game. What's it like playing with this group of guys? Like, what is this team, kind of the culture of the team behind closed doors that people don't see from just watching the game?
You know what? Put it in simple words. All of us are like almost brothers. You know.
That's
good. You know, always pulling some prank on one another in the shade room. You know, it's pretty. Just to be in the environment behind closed doors, it's almost funny. It's almost like a comedic act, to be honest. It's like watching one of those shows where they just pull pranks on one another. That's basically what it's like majority of the time. But we honestly love each other to death, try and support one another all the time. You know, just being together, we do a whole lot of stuff together. When we go out together. If we want to eat, we go and eat together. You know. So it's a pretty like a close-knit family.
That's good. That's how you build a culture of winning, right? You get the chemistry up, and then the results follow.
Yep.
What about like the two seasons? Because MLS is just one season. Here you got the spring season and the fall season.
Yep.
How do you prepare yourself mentally for that? Because you have the big cup game at the end where the two champions of each season play each other. But it's got to be hard going through a spring season, stopping.
Even the traveling as well, I was going to add. Back and forth.
Especially in Canada, it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
There's a lot of travel going on. So what's that like? How do you prepare for that mentally?
At the end of the day, how I really look at things, it's you know, you go a game at a time. No matter whether it be spring, no matter whether it be fall. You know, the next game you have to get a result. You go to that game, you start looking forward to the next game, and that's honestly how it should be. Just like how I guess referring to Zlatan back in MLS, he talks about how the mentality is there, and it's all about just making playoffs. Everything is about making playoffs. What the mentality should be is just every single game, whether it's home or away, you have to get a result. That's how it's viewed anywhere else in the world. La Liga,
one game at a time.
One game at a time. And that's how I like to look at things. No matter if a game is 2 weeks, we have a long break. From day one after that last game is to prepare yourself and be fully prepared for that next game.
Okay. Well, I think we got time for one more question. Yep. Now, Ryan, this is going to be a tricky one. Feel free not to answer, and I'm going to make it sound as best as I can. There's been a lot of people interacting with us, and a lot of them are saying Vanny out. I'm not going to ask you your opinion on it. What I want to know is, what are your opinions on Vanny as a coach? What is his coaching styles like in practice? How does he treat each game? Because you know what? He went from being one of the best coaches in Toronto history. Everyone turned on him quick once he had one bad season. And this year with a few subs that have kind of been looking a bit shaky when he brings them on. So people have been saying it's a whole argument. Vanny in, Vanny out. I know you can't put a stance on that, but maybe you can just tell us how he is behind the scenes, what his coaching style is like.
First off, that's how fans are going to be at the end of the day. You're having a good day, they're going to be happy. You're having a bad day, they're going to be upset about it. Being in this business, that's what you have to deal with at the end of the day. In terms of Greg, he's a great person, absolute tactician, to be honest. I feel sometimes he doesn't sleep at night trying to think about the next game, and his whole tactical awareness of how he wants to approach every single game is something every different. And when you have all those moving parts, sometimes things don't go together well. But in terms of how he prepares himself and how he carries himself leading into the next games, honestly, I've never seen another coach seeing him take it that far on how he prepares himself and how he carries himself in front of the team. And he absolutely, him and his coaching staff does absolute best job to prepare us for whatever game ahead. And I think, you know, fans could be a little bit too harsh because at the end of the day, you know, in what I view, a manager can only tell his moving pieces what to do and what you would like him to do on a whole masterful plan. But at the end of the day, you know, it's the people who are out there on the field who have to take responsible. You know, sometimes things might be going bad on the field and, you know, you never know what might happen. But, you know, as professional players, this is what you were meant to do. This is what you're here for. You have to think for yourself as well and be able to adapt to whatever situation there is on the field. And that's my whole take on it, to be honest.
Well, you know, you made a great point calling him a tactician because the one thing I will give him is he seems to know where his players play best.
Yep.
What a lot of people don't know is Richie Lorea isn't a fullback.
No, he's not.
He never
He's
played
not.
fullback.
No.
Greg Vanny brought him in, saw a need at fullback, thought, Richie, let's put you there, put him there, and now look at him. He's getting called up to Canada. He's been a revelation for Toronto. So you know what? He does know what he's doing. So people do, I agree with you, do need to be a little bit easier on him. I mean, if Toronto can't make the playoffs this year, even Bill Manning, who was on before, he said there's going to be some conversations happening, but that's if and when. I do believe Toronto make the playoffs. Dante?
I totally agree with that.
And I'm pretty sure, Ryan, you think they're going to be making the
sure.
right? Okay. They're making a deep run this year again.
They have to.
But yeah, so that's the thing, guys. You got to look at it from every perspective. One result doesn't make a bad coach. 1 year, you're like you said, he can only do so much. So let's give him a little bit of a break on Twitter there, all right? Football Twitter, all right? I don't like what I've been seeing.
Fans will be fans. Fans will be fans.
Fans will be fans, that's right.
Exactly. Well, Ryan, we'd like to thank you for your time. We wish you all the best in the future.
Awesome.
And as well, we'd like to thank our sponsors, 9 Rounds Boxing, Popeyes Woodbridge, and of course TFC on the road. For any trips for TFC when they're on the road, please go see TFC on the road. It's a tremendous experience. You'll have a blast.
We're going to have to talk to Santiago and get some York 9 on the road trips going.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Santiago, you better be watching this. You heard it here. York 9 on the road. Let's make it happen.
All right. And of course, guys, I know we're missing Toe. He knows everything. The one thing he does know is it's summertime and he's with his kids in this great time. He's going to be back coming the next episode, which should be dropping either next week or the week after. And we'll get back to all the great pods that we've been doing the past few months. So, Ryan, again, thank you very much.
No problem, guys. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. Ryan Telfer, everybody.
Have a good night.
Hey guys, welcome to the Soccer Report podcast this week with my co-hosts Nico and Dante. We've got an amazing show for you ahead, but we want to give a big shout out to our newest sponsor, Cataldi Fresh Market in Woodbridge, and a new location coming soon in Toronto in the Keelan Lawrence area. So support Cataldi, our newest sponsor. Make sure you check them out. They got a big Instagram following as well. We also want to thank our other sponsor, 9 Round Kickboxing and Fitness. Check out Louis' 2 gyms, one in Bond, one in Maple. Support our sponsors. They bring the Soccer Report podcast to you. So thanks to our sponsors. So guys, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. There's a lot going on. We're in the midst of playoff season for TFC, CPL, the launch of the Champions League, and most of the other leagues around the world. But let's start with a recap of TFC and what's been going on with the club this last month. And we know that this Sunday is decision day. We're going to figure out if TFC gets home advantage or not. And we're facing our old rivals again with Columbus. And we've got to hinge on the fact that New York loses. And DC United loses as well. So there's a lot of play. What do you think is going to happen, Nico?
Honestly, I think TFC is going to handle their business. It's going to be a wet day down at BMO on Sunday, but they're going to handle their business and they're going to win a game that they need to win. But I can't see DC losing. and the Red Bulls too will probably get a win. If one of the two, the odds are against us. I don't see us getting a first-round home matchup as much as I would love to see one. I don't think it's going to happen for us this season.
I totally agree with Nico here. I just wish for that home playoff game, but it's very hard. It's very hard.
Guys, both super pessimistic. Why is that? Is it because, let's be frank, TFC has been somewhat lackluster, even though we squeaked into the playoffs. Now it looks like, hey, once you're in the playoffs, it changes the game, but they've been sort of lackluster for the last month.
You know what, I'll say it, TFC doesn't deserve a home playoff match. They don't. The way they've been playing, they don't deserve to host a game with the new way the playoffs are laid out. They've been unbeaten in, 8 or 9 games now, but they've only won 3 of them. You're giving up points on the board almost every single game. They gave up points when they faced LAFC. They gave up points when they faced New York City FC. By getting these 1-point ties puts you into this position where you need to win on decision day. You don't deserve to have a home playoff game. As nice as it would be to be, they're going to have to go on the road, and they're going to have to prove to us that they can win these games on the road. And maybe, you know what, maybe we get another MLS Cup final appearance. It won't be at home, but at least we'll get there. It's possible, but they definitely don't deserve a home playoff game.
Absolutely, I gotta agree with you. I think for the last month, and like you said, they've won a lot of matches without really winning matches. But at the end of the day, their play on the field has been subpar, and we see it in different areas. Like we saw it with those PKs, that debacle, that PK debacle, that we can't even begin to talk about. It's horrific. You can't even begin to say what went wrong there. But you made a good point in talking before the podcast. Cavani admitted they don't practice PKs. Okay, this is a team that does not practice PKs. They go into a PK situation and they fumble it completely.
It's 3 pieces of hardware we'd have if we practiced PKs. We would have had the 2016 MLS Cup, we would have had this past Canadian Cup, and we would have won Champions League if we knew how to take penalty kicks. But everyone keeps hitting their penalty kicks off the bar, easy ones into the goalie. It's embarrassing. How do you make 1 of 4 penalty kicks? How do you miss 3 in a row?
And PKs is, you know, if you're an amateur player, it's about practice. But at that level, it's all about self-esteem and confidence. When you're taking a kick, you don't need to practice PKs every single practice. I think Vanny's right with that in terms of that. But at the end of the day, when you've got professional players that can hit the net or hit the bar, it's sad. It's very sad at this level. And this is what sort of separates these MLS players and MLS teams from teams in Europe and other leagues. And it's pretty evident.
I think that this TFC team has to be the worst penalty kick team in the world ever. I've never seen a team that sucks this much at penalty kicks. I don't get it.
I can't remember when he's made
Can you? He like won in the league, but like in a game, not even during a penalty kick shootout. He doesn't make them. I mean, he doesn't make them. Bradley doesn't make them. I mean, Altidore rings them.
Altidore, that was, oh my God.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
It's sad to say. At the end of the day, like we said, high caliber players not scoring a PK. There's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse.
Well, and if they keep tying games in the playoffs, what's going to happen? It's going to go to PKs. So I mean, they're going to have to shape up and learn how to strike the ball. And you know what? We're giving a lot of crap to the penalty kick takers. I don't think Bono has saved a penalty kick in 18 years. He has not saved a single one. I can't remember when. So I mean, you got to give some crap there too. I mean, we love these guys. They need to turn up and start playing. But when it comes to penalty kicks, they're no good. It's just a fact.
What are other areas of weakness do you see that we need to really focus in on now that the playoff time has come?
Well, I mean, we somewhat improved it, but there's still room for improvement. I would say the back line. The addition of Omar Gonzalez definitely helped us. I truly believe we don't make the playoffs without him.
I agree.
The guy's
that last goal that he scored there,
the header,
fantastic. Shows he's strong on the ball in the air. He's got the height.
What a signing. That's all I got to say. What a signing.
And I agree with you. Without him back there, the defense collapses.
Yeah, completely collapses. I mean, the job with Mavinga or Moore and Simo, that just won't cut it. We didn't get smart.
Agreed.
Omar Gonzalez, he is a rock. We do not truly make the playoffs with him.
See, Dante, I'm gonna get a little question here because I'm a little confused because you just said we need to work on our back line and then talked about how great he is.
Because there's the other guy beside him named Chris Mavinga who has his moments of brilliance and then has his moments of why did you do that? He just can't control that. It's not consistent.
This is where we're going to have to agree to disagree because I think our back line has been one of our best areas the past few games. I think Mavinga, yeah, he's made that one mistake in Gauss. He makes a few mistakes, but he also makes like 4 or 5 unreal plays a game to save us goals.
I'm not questioning
I don't
that.
think we have to worry about our
He
back
shines at moments.
I don't think we have to worry about our back line. I think right now the way our back line's playing, it's good enough to get us into the playoffs and win us some games.
So what's the biggest area of weakness that you see?
Vanny's substitutions and lineup choices. I don't understand it. I get, you know what, Endo's been playing great. Don't get me wrong. He's getting time. But these big signings for our wingers, Gallardo and Benezet, I know they've been a bit hurt recently, but these guys are on our bench and Vanny's not playing them. He doesn't even sub them in at the end of the games, or he gives them 5 minutes at the end of the game. You paid big money for these 2 players, and you're not putting them in to let them do their job.
What could the rationale be? Saving them for the playoffs? What's the rationale?
Trying to get them healthy for the playoffs.
Right.
Well, I mean, Endo has been playing great when he's been put on there, but now they're playing Pozuelo as well on the wing, and Pozuelo looks lost on the wing. He doesn't play well there. Pozuelo belongs in the middle in that Victor Vasquez role and throw 2 wingers on his side, which is why you went out and splashed, I think it's 500,000 on Gallardo, and I think 700,000 or 800,000 on Benezet. To play soccer, not to play on the bench. It's ridiculous. And he doesn't even sub them in, which blows my mind.
When
They didn't play Chicago. They were in the
had a
lineup.
chance, he was amazing. He was amazing.
Both
His
players have
vision,
shown flash of brilliance on the pitch. They show that they can be
a
good
lot of
players
pace
for
from
us.
Gallardo.
So just to piggyback on what you're saying, I'm going to say the biggest weakness this year has been Vanny. I think Vanny has been shaky with his decision making. I know it's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback, but he's made very questionable decisions, and some of these decisions are his substitutions. I totally agree. And I think going into the playoffs, we're going to see what he's really made of. Does he have the steadiness, and is he going to be even-keeled enough to take this team right to the final?
I agree. I mean, Vanny does a lot of things right, and he doesn't get credit for those. Changing Larea to a right back, to a fullback, and getting the success that he's had. He's done a lot of good things, but he's also done a lot of bad things, and unfortunately, the bad outweighs the good this season.
I just couldn't understand either in that Montreal game. Why did he substitute Endo? What was the point of that?
Well, I know a lot of people are confused.
Fire,
Altidore actually asked for a sub too in like the 78th minute. He put his hand up, and he looked for the bench, and he said like, for me, but I guess they figured, let's play for penalty kicks. Just walk around for 12 minutes. We're going to penalty kicks. We need you to take one. Didn't work because he missed. But that was the rationale behind, I think, the Endo over Altidore sub off. But some of the subs, like in the Chicago Fire game, I mean, I know Irwin went down. Not Irwin. Westberg went down, and Bono had to come in, so that's one of the subs. But you're subbing in Mullins, you're not, De Leon, you're not bringing in Gallardo and Benezet, who are on the bench. Clearly, they could play at least 20 minutes, and you're not giving them time. And then, brutal. And then we tie a game in Chicago we should have won, and if we win that game, maybe we're not worried about winning this weekend so much to get a home playoff game.
So what do the playoffs look like? If we're at home, who are we facing potentially, and if we're playing away, who are we facing potentially?
Well, if we're at home, it's looking like it'll be us versus DC or us versus New York. More likely us versus DC. But, well, actually, it would be us versus DC because if New York wins, we're not getting a home game. So if we get the home game, we're facing DC.
Far from textbook defending.
Not a bad matchup. To be honest, I prefer a road matchup in Philadelphia or even in Atlanta if Martinez is still out for the game. Either way, the East is there's a lot of parity in MLS this year, I found, especially within the East. Any game's a win or lose, it's just off tactics. You know what I mean? We could go in and win any game. We could go in and lose any game. There's no team. I mean, other than like your LAFCs, even your New York City has been looking really good. They're kind of, they'll probably go through a few rounds, take it a little easy. Other than that, there's parity. It could be anyone's playoffs.
Absolutely, it's close. Predictions. What are we predicting for the playoffs here for TFC? What do you think, Dante? What's your prediction?
I think first off, I think we play Philly in the first round. In Philadelphia, I think we take Philly, and then I think we lose the next round to say probably like an NYC FC or something like that.
Does this team have the potential to go all the way? Do you think this team can go all the way?
It's possible, but I just don't see it. After what I've seen from Altidore, I don't know what kind of Josie Altidore I'm going to get. And that beast, when he's on fire, you sign me up, we have potential.
And he usually performs in the playoffs.
Yes.
Right? He usually performs.
That's what we love about Josie, and he's the X factor.
Nico, what do you think?
I'll say it right now, my bias might show TFC, anything but making it to the conference finals is a loss of the season the way this team's built. I've seen this team play. LAFC, we dominated them the whole game. We took it to the best team in the league, the Supporters' Shield the champions. We took it to them. We have this talent and the skill level to win every single game we play in. I wouldn't be surprised if they went to the MLS Cup and won the damn thing, even going the whole way on the road.
Wow.
They have the skill to do
Okay,
it.
so you heard it here first. Nico's making a prediction, a bold prediction, that they can go all the way.
They can go all the way. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, for me, I don't see that happening. I think at the end of the day, it's all about the leadership, and Vanny's got to pay the price. When we spoke with Bill Manning, Bill Manning said that if they did not make the playoffs, Vanny was done. Now that they've made the playoffs, does this mean Vanny will be back next year? I think Vanny's the problem for the inconsistency with the team. They have not been consistent, and I think you're going to see that inconsistency continue on in the playoffs. This year will not be one of those anomaly years where all of a sudden they're going to wake up and go all the way. I think they're going to get crushed in the playoffs, and I think we'll see that. And at the end of the day, I think Vanny has not been the Vanny of old. I think you can see it in his interviews. He's looking confused. He's not sure of himself and some of the decisions, second-guessing himself, even admitting that they don't practice PKs. It's to me problematic. You don't need to say that. You don't have to admit to it, but you don't have to say it either. So I'm going to say he's the problem. Vanny's got to go. Win or lose, they're not going all the way, and it's on Vanny because they got the talent.
I'm going to give you I'm going to give you a bigger bold prediction than TFC going all the way. I say Vanny's still here next year. Not saying I agree with it, but when like you said, when you spoke to Bill Manning, you saw it. He was very high on Vanny. The whole organization backs Vanny. I've even heard that he may not be back as coach, but he'll still be in the organization in a higher up role. Because apparently they love him there, and you know what? Because he's made the playoffs this year, he even said it. Bill Manning said if he doesn't make the playoffs, he didn't even say then he's gone. He said then we'll have to have a conversation. So if they're just saying that he's not making the playoffs, if he makes the playoffs, I can't see them completely firing him, maybe giving him a promotion, and then bringing in another coach while he's somewhere higher up as like a technical director. Something along those lines, I don't know.
Wait, so you're telling me he's athletics gonna stay too now?
Looking like it, man. Looking like it. But so I would not be surprised if Vanny is still in charge next year, or still with the club in some aspect come next season.
Listen, I personally think at the end of the day you could be right, because I do think there is some kind of affection for him in the higher ranks, but if they give this guy a promotion after being this shaky this year, that's a real reflection on the organization and the organization not being solid and strong. And I think if you look at what's happening there, some of the people involved in this organization, it might be time for a clean sweep. It happens in all types of organizations and business, not just in the sports business, and this could be time for some new direction. And I'm going to say that if they do fail to go on in the playoffs after the first round, it's time for a clean sweep. That's my opinion.
So Ali Curtis out too,
Ali Curtis out
1 year?
right away, you got it. I would have never brought him in. I would have never brought him in, period. He's here. You know what? Underperformed. Out. That's my opinion. And I guarantee you that there's talented people willing to come in and work just as hard, if not harder, for less money. So it can't be about the money, because they're always crying about the money, even though they got more money than God. But if you look in the stands, you'll notice that as of late, they don't have the people in the stands that they used to have. Definitely not.
No, they don't.
They just don't, and they're not selling the same amount of beer and peanuts and popcorn. So it's got to be hitting them in the pocketbook. I said it from the beginning. They're going to start suffering. If they get eliminated from the playoffs, you will see a shakeup. I think at the end of the day, the real MLSE brass is going to look at the situation and say, hey, we need to do something about this.
So there's more promotions now, right?
Listen, you got it. You got it.
They're trying to get people in the seat.
They're trying, and you see they're giving stuff away, all sorts of promotions. I can't keep up with the amount of promotions. It's also a little bit sad because I see the same thing happening with the CPL in some markets. We talked about it here in York region. Same type of thing. They are throwing tickets at people, and people are not going. So that tells me one of two things. Soccer is saturated here in the GTA, in Toronto, or people don't have an interest, or they're distracted because we've got an amazing hockey team. We've got basketball ready to start up, right? It's a very competitive market in terms of sports. Toronto is a sports market. But at the end of the day, how many slivers of this pie can we keep cutting, right? So I don't know what's going to happen moving forward. Let's talk a little bit about this big upcoming game. I believe it's on October 15th. We have Canada versus USA. A lot of TFC players going to be involved. You got Altidore, you got Bradley, you got Osorio for Canada, Larea. So what do you guys make of this? And it's a pretty important game as well.
Hugely important, big-time game. And you know what? this for the first time in I don't even remember when. If Canada loses, I will be disappointed. The team that Canada has put out there is a damn fine-looking team with Larea at the back, Jonathan David, who's a revelation, playing for Ghent this year and playing for Canada the way he's played. I think he scored in almost every game he started for Canada.
Monster.
Alfonso Davies, a team like this team is amazing. When I say amazing, relatively speaking to all past Canadian teams.
And young.
And young. You know what? If that defense can get a little tighter, unfortunately they'll be missing Henry for the game due to his, I think it was red card or 2 yellows last game against Cuba. So he's missing the first game, the game against the States, which is a big loss.
Alfonso Davies going to be here?
Alfonso Davies will be there. Jonathan David will be there. It's going to be a big-time game that they need to win if they want to jump up in the FIFA World Cup rankings, which is now the way they decide the Hex. The Hex, the top 6 of my CONCACAF teams get in now. It's no more qualifying.
They got to redeem.
They got to make sure they get into that Hex if they want any chance of making the World Cup, because the alternative is way too tough.
Yeah, big game at BMO. They got home advantage. And, you know, we got a lot of familiar faces. We know how Bradley plays. We know how Altidore plays. So, you know, we know what to expect from this USA team. And again, we got tons of talent in Canada. But for some reason, we continue to underperform. I'm going to say if we lose that game, I'm going to peg it on the coach again. It's a coaching issue. And I think, as you know, we took the female national team coach and brought him over to the men's team. And I think John Herdman is having a little bit of a hard time getting his bearings with the team and getting this team unified, because there's no lack of talent. No lack of talent whatsoever.
Well, listen, they listened to us. We told them, your back line was weak. You needed someone at the fullback to shore up. They brought in Larea last time. They started against Cuba. I know it's Cuba. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But they looked way better than they did in the World Cup on their back line. They looked way more confident. The wing backs played better. It's what they need, right? They need time to get together and work as a team. And once they get that, the team will be there. Again, we talked about it. You know what? You're right. Herdman kind of bullied his way into this role. He's what we got for now, and it doesn't look like they're going to be getting rid of him anytime soon. Let's see what he can do, and let's get the proper players playing right now.
Absolutely. We got him. We got a group of really young, talented players, and I think just based on talent alone, we should be able to move forward.
And the USA is nothing special anymore.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
They're not the same team, guys.
They've been beat up by Mexico and a few of these other countries in the last few exhibition games. And they've shown that they're struggling as well, despite having tons of resources, monetary resources, and they've got the numbers. They got 330 million people to pick from, right? So at the end of the day, we've definitely got a shot. I'm going to be cheering for Canada. Let's hope they can do it on October 15th.
And for those people that don't know, this is the Nations League game, which yeah, it's like a little tournament. But with the seeding for the Hex, which is the World Cup qualifying, the top 6 in CONCACAF get into the Hex, the top 3 in the Hex make the World Cup. All the other teams play a tournament to see who can face the 4th place team in the Hex for the final World Cup spot. Which to have to go to play another tournament just to play the 4th place team in the Hex, that's grueling. So Canada has to make that top 6 and get in the Hex. If they get in the Hex, I don't see 3 teams better than them. I see the States and Mexico. They'll compete with the Jamaica, maybe Trinidad, depending who's there. But I think they belong in there, and I think they're the 3rd best team right now in CONCACAF.
I agree.
They deserve to be there. The World Cup, the FIFA World Rankings are always a bit bush league to me, the way they do it and the way they value games. But they got to get in that way. They have to do it. There's no other choice. If they don't get the Hex, they're not making the World Cup. That's my prediction.
It's a high value game.
Let's go Canada. Canada's got to do it. Let's move on a little bit. We're going to talk about the CPL final. So we've gone through pretty much a whole season of the CPL. The finals are going to be Hamilton Forge versus the Cavalry. You're going to the game. What's your prediction for this?
I'll be there. Follow me on Instagram, Nico Monas. I'll cover the whole game. I'm going to be there the first leg in Hamilton, which is October 25th. Or October 26th. 26th in Hamilton. Honestly, Cavalry was like the spring season. They were the best team by a mile. It wasn't even close. They took it to everyone. They took it to Vancouver in the Canadian in the Champions League. Like, they took it to everyone. Fall season, Forges look great. They took it. They went into that other tournament, the CONCACAF tournament. They made a good run. They almost qualified for Champions League. They had a good run. They're looking good. It's going to be a good final, and it's going to be some good soccer. Honestly, I implore everyone to watch it because it's going to be a good turnout. My personal pick is I'm taking Forge because we got friend of the show Kwame who plays for Forge. Got to go with Kwame, so I'm going to go with my boys at Forge. But it's going to be a good game.
So let's go Hamilton. Tell me why it seems like in markets like Hamilton, the CPL has been able to flourish, whereas here in York region, in the Toronto area, it hasn't. We all know we've been to the York 9 games. There's nobody there, unfortunately. Why is that?
I'll tell you right now. The CPL is a tale of two leagues right now. You got your teams in Hamilton with diehard fans. You got your team in Halifax where they don't have a lot of stuff. You got Pacific where it's small markets, but they don't have anything else. They're going to that team. They're supporting.
Exactly.
Then you got a team like York 9, who's got TFC 20 minutes south. You got different, like, there's no market for it. You're playing at York University. They got a good team. It's not like they're putting out crap onto the field. Their team has been good this season.
Ryan Telford.
They've been good, a good team this season, and they're just not. The fans aren't there. When Ryan was on the show, he talked about how when he went to Halifax and everything, the fans were crazy. They were cheering down. And York has a few rows of dedicated fans that are there making noise every game, but that's it. I think there's, like you said it best, Tope, there's an oversaturation of sports in the GTA. I
agree.
Hamilton, people say, what about Hamilton? It's close. Hamilton's a different animal. Hamilton doesn't associate themselves with Toronto at all.
They don't.
So, I mean...
You see with the football rivalry between the Argos and
Tiger Cats. You see it all the time. They differentiate themselves from Toronto. They don't want to be us. We don't want to be them. They're different. They're only an hour and a half away.
Even when you go to the stadium.
Well, it must be a dream.
And that's what the CPL needs to do to thrive. Go to these markets where people don't have access to a professional team. You want to start a team in Quebec? Have one in Quebec City. Oh, excuse me. Have one in Quebec City or Laval. You don't need one in Montreal.
That's right.
You want to stay in Ontario for another team? Don't go to Mississauga. Go to Kingston.
Right.
Kingston, go to Waterloo, go to London, go to a team out there in Windsor. You don't need a team in Mississauga when you have Hamilton and York 9 right in between them, and TFC right on Lake Shore as well.
Exactly.
But all I'm hearing is that Mississauga is going to be the next team to get a team. Montreal is going to be one of the next teams to get a team.
Big cities, right?
It doesn't make sense. The CPL needs to go where there's low market share for soccer, and that's what they need to target hard. I think Kingston would have a great team. I think London would have a great team.
London for sure. London supports the London Knights like you guys wouldn't believe.
Yeah, and in those markets, it
analogy.
works.
Yeah.
Again, that analogy works because when you're in that market and you're not competing with anybody, people will support the local team.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Champions League has started. And I also want to talk about this, the Ballon d'Or, who went to Messi again. I know we were talking before and everybody's upset. How could it go to Messi? Shouldn't have gone to Messi or Ronaldo. Who should have gone to?
Thank you. That's all.
Van Dijk. I hate giving an award to a defender because I do feel like your attackers do have more impact on the game. But Van Dijk has a huge impact on Liverpool's season. They might not have won the EPL, sure, but they won Champions League, which is way bigger than winning the EPL.
Oh, yeah.
And Van Dijk was that team's player. Like, he was their guy. He looked so good. Listen, I got into it big with Pro Soccer Talk writer Nicholas Mendola on Twitter because he was saying we had a big argument over Messi, Ronaldo. He said Ronaldo didn't even deserve to be in the FIFA Best XI of that year. Messi, yeah, he got the goals this year because he beats up no-name teams in Spain and scores 5 on them. Where is he when it counts? This year he had another Copa America, and what did he do? Absolutely nothing, and Argentina hasn't won again with him there. What did Ronaldo do in the summer? The first ever the Nations League Cup.
Yes.
He wins it, scores 3 goals in the semifinals to
Portugal.
take him to the final, and
Yeah.
Portugal wins the first ever Nations League there. So yeah, club-wise, Ronaldo with Juventus, they still won the Serie A.
That's right.
They didn't go far in Champions League as far as they should have, but neither did Barcelona.
Tough Ajax
Both
team.
teams not making the finals in Champions League is a letdown for both of them, in my opinion.
Yeah. Right.
So that's Messi right there. No Champions League, no Copa America. Yeah, he won the La Liga for the 18th time, but who cares?
That's right.
He's done it so much. Who gives a shit? Sorry for my language. Try something else, buddy. Ronaldo, winning the Serie A last year, now makes him the only player to win the Serie A, EPL, and La Liga.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I got to give it to Ronaldo at his age too. He still looks phenomenal.
3 years older than Messi.
Looks
Tremendous
phenomenal.
fitness.
So his fitness level, his sharpness, his ability to read the game, still at the top level. And I think you will not find a player like Ronaldo anytime soon. Like the guy is just phenomenal.
And
But-
the Juve players are adapting to
Absolutely, and he's adapting to the Italian style of play, which I think initially he was having a hard time with because he said it himself. In Italy, it's a defensive style of play, and he wasn't used to that playing in La Liga, right? But now I think the adjustment period has been done, and we're going to see big things from Ronaldo.
Here's the thing. Was Messi better last year than Ronaldo statistics-wise? 100%. Scored a lot more goals, a lot more assists, 100% better. Are we only judging soccer now based on stats?
No, I'm not.
Right.
It's what you do off the ball. I mean, he's still a fraud for Argentina. He doesn't.
Wow,
He wins
that's
the
bold.
Liga. How is he not a fraud for Argentina? What have they won with him there? nothing.
I know what you're
Not
saying.
even a Copa America.
And he's retired twice.
And
from
Copa
the national
Americas
team,
make a
and then
new
come
Copa
back.
America every year to try and give Messi one so we can have a national one. I swear to God, they've had like 5 in the past 7 years, and he can't win one.
Yeah.
And he doesn't show up either. He doesn't score goals in there. I think he had 1 goal in the last Copa America.
It'll be sad for Messi's legacy if he can't win at the national level. If he can't do something for Argentina, it's going to be very sad, because at the end of the day, you know, there's often comparisons between Maradona and Messi.
That's the thing.
Who was the greatest Argentinian. At the end of the day, for me, Maradona produced.
It's
right?
Maradona.
So
100%.
Messi's really got to do something. You know, he's aging as well.
He had that chance against Germany.
And it's not like Argentina's team sucks.
Right.
They have a lot of quality
Lot of
players,
talent.
and he can't do anything with that. Once you move him out of that Barcelona system with the great midfield,
Tiki-taka.
the tiki-taka, like once you move him out of that system, what's Messi? That's why he's never left.
That's right.
Ronaldo's left made his mark everywhere he's gone. Messi hasn't.
succeeded.
And when you're viewing their careers at the end of them, I feel like that's what you'll be looking at. Ronaldo has 2 international trophies. He has 3 different league trophies. He has the same amount of Champions Leagues. Like that's what you're going to view at the end of the year, not the fact that Messi had another 10 or 15 more goals than Ronaldo in one season when Ronaldo was 34.
Right.
I think the biggest X factor with Messi, I mean, back then, he had the Xavi and Iniesta.
Right.
And people, I can't even tell you, with those two together, it made everybody's life so much easier. Like,
Well,
they kept
he
the
still
game so
produces
simple.
now too,
Yeah,
right?
but now he even has to do that role, I find. Right? So he has to send those vision passes and make these crazy balls. Back then, it used to be Xavi and Iniesta doing that role, but now Messi's role is completely
Yeah, when you play
expanded.
with great players, they make you look good.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
One
Absolutely.
more thing before we get off this topic, I think it's a crime that Bernardo Silva was not even in the top 10 for best player of
Yeah,
the
he
year.
was
He was the best player on Man City that won the EPL.
Yeah.
He played amazing. He was the best player for Portugal in the Nations League. I know
Yeah.
Ronaldo scored the hat trick, but Bernardo Silva won the tournament
Very good player.
player of the tournament. He was amazing. To not even be recognized in a top 10, I think is a joke. I'm biased, of course. I love him, but it's a joke he wasn't even recognized.
Absolutely. And on this note, we're talking about the best players in the world. Last Saturday, we had the best futsal player in the world here at Sportsplex 2. We had Falcao from Brazil, who played an exhibition game against New York City, Ecuador. It was phenomenal. The turnout, the Toronto crowd supported this event phenomenally well. Better than probably most of these CPL games that you see here in Toronto. The crowd was out to support Falcao. He put on an amazing show. Futsal is a fantastic sport. It's a FIFA recognized sport.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, if you haven't seen a futsal game, you got to check it out. There is a new league starting here at Sportsplex 2 on Saturday evening, starting in November. The top 8 futsal clubs from around the GTA will be playing here. Check it out. It's going to be phenomenal. Toronto United Futsal put on that event with Falcao, and they also have a men's team in the new futsal league. So check it out, because the skills and the footwork.
If you
is
haven't
incredible.
seen it, go to GTA Sportsplex's
GTA
Instagram and
Sportsplex.
see some of the highlights, because it's insane what they were doing.
It is
Falcao's
sick,
incredible,
beyond
guys.
sick. His footwork is just incredible. When you see it live, it leaves you in awe. Check it out at GTA Sportsplex. And guys, I just want to thank you. Before we leave, let's make our final prediction for TFC. Nico, I know you said it. You think there's a chance they're going all the way. You're sticking with that?
Calling it. They're winning the MLS Cup this year.
Wow, that's bold.
Put some money on it. That's a good future
Put
bet
some
right there.
money on that. Dante?
I don't know about that. I can see them winning the first game, but definitely not the next one.
Guys, my prediction is they choke first round. Vanny's head's got to be on the chopping block. I think I called it right from the beginning, and I said, this guy is shaky. He's not a leader. At the end of the day, he did a lot of good work for TFC, but everyone has their moment in time, and his 15 minutes are over. It's time for Vanny to go, and probably the rest of the MLSE management knows it, and I think big decisions will be made, especially if they're gone in the first round. Vanny, it was nice having you here, but I'd like to see you in another city. Bring on some new blood. Amazing podcast. Again, let's thank our new sponsor, Cataldi Fresh Market. They have 2 locations, one in Woodbridge, another new one opening up in Toronto, and our buddy Louis from 9 Round Kickboxing and Fitness. Support our sponsors. They'll keep this podcast going. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Soccer Report podcast. I am here with my co-hosts Nico and Dante. We're going to be talking TFC, Team Canada, a little bit of stuff from around the world. It's going to be an amazing show. We want to start off by thanking our sponsors who we could not be here without. We want to thank Cataldi Fresh Market. They've got 2 locations. First location is in Woodbridge on Market Lane, and they've got a second location in Toronto, Lawrence and Kiel area. Check out Cataldi, and thank you to them for sponsoring this podcast. We also want to thank our friends at 9 Round Kickboxing Fitness. Louis got 2 locations, one in Vaughan and another one in Maple. Please support them because they are community-based. They support the community, they support soccer, and we need you to support them. So thank you to them. This is a crazy week. We just had an amazing week of soccer. We had Team Canada beat the USA for the first time in 34 years. We had TFC make it to the next round of the playoffs by beating our DC United opponents in overtime 5-1. There's a lot to talk about today. I think we can get started. The first thing I'm going to say is I was wrong. I said TFC would be eliminated, and actually when they went into overtime, I swear to God I thought it was done. I said they lost momentum, it's over, they're going to lose in overtime, and then they shocked and awed everyone, ended up winning 5-1. Our boy, the local boy, Richie Larea, ends up coming on, game changer for me. What do you guys think about the game? Let's do a little bit of a recap. Dante, Nico?
There's a way you don't lose in penalty kicks, and that's by dominating extra time so you don't have to get to penalty kicks. I mean, anybody who's not a real soccer fan and you hear 5-1 in overtime doesn't make sense, because how do you get 4 goals in overtime? But my God, 4 goals in 15 minutes by Toronto FC. I don't know who spoke up at the end of the game in the bench or whatever. Who was it Vanny yelling?
Something
was it
went down.
Something just clicked, and
like
that next 15 minutes was a different team. They came out firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to the Canadian boys, because Osorio and Larea really stepped up, and I got to credit them. It's a credit to Canadian soccer, a credit to them. They came out, they were on fire. You saw Osorio was a man on a mission in that overtime. He had a massive impact on that result. Would you agree, Dante?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Jonathan Osorio, man, keep it up, man. Especially without Altidore and Gonzalez, our heads were down and heading into the game. But my goodness, Jonathan Osorio, absolutely incredible, and we definitely needed him. And he stepped up and he delivered like a captain that he is on the team.
Absolutely, and I was surprised by a bunch of players. Last night, first goal, Marky Delgado. I've been saying all season, why the hell does this guy keep playing? I guess we know why, because when it counts and it's playoff time, he finally scores. So Marky Delgado, shout out to you. You finally did it. You deserve to stay on, although I still would have subbed you out. We had a couple of substitutions which were questionable, but I was happy about the coach bringing Larea on. I think that was a wise substitution. And we saw a lot of players sort of step it up where I didn't think that they would have. We also saw Moore come in towards the end. What do you guys think about the team without Altidore, without Gonzalez? What do you think about it?
The team without Altidore at first was scary because Altidore brings a lot of goal threats. Then when I saw Gonzalez had a late hurt, my heart stopped. I thought it was done right there. Absolutely. Because you know what? I think they were averaging 1.8 goals against, and then when we brought him in, it brought down to 1.1 against. Like, he's made that much of a difference on our team.
Impact.
That guy is one of the core players on our team now when he's playing. His defense is unreal. And Simon, let's call a spade. He hasn't had a good year. He's a great player, but age looks like he's been catching up with him. He's not been great. But yesterday, he dialed back the clock, and he played like he did when he was MLS Defender of the Year 3 years back, because he played great. Mavinga played great. It looked like they weren't missing a beat without him there. Granted, I hope he's back Wednesday for New York City, but they all played great yesterday. It was tough without them. Obviously, we'd much rather have them here, but they played well all around them. We're going to shout out to Osorio on that. You know what? Big shout out to Nick DeLeon, too, a sub that came in. He made a big game changer as well. Scored a beautiful goal, all against a team that let him go for nothing, DC, last year.
Thanks,
we don't need him. TSC came in, swept him up, said thank you very much, and he came in and powered home an amazing goal, last night. Bar down. Beautiful.
Yeah, so I've got to be a little bit of the bearer of bad news. So for all of this great commentary that we're doing for TFC, I got to say the reason I think they made it to the extra time was because of the goaltending. And we've been talking about goaltending all year long. The goaltending was shaky, but I got to tell you, Westberg came out there and he stood on his head. He made some amazing saves right from close range. I got to credit him with keeping the team alive and getting to that extra time. Would you agree, Dante?
Oh, absolutely. So Quentin Westberg, you stoned Wayne Rooney I don't know how many times in that game. And then there was another chance with Camara where it was just a crazy giveaway. But it's okay, That's why we got Quentin Westberg. He stoned them when we needed him. And my goodness, if it wasn't for him, don't even know what to say.
Yeah, well, when they initially signed him, I wasn't sure. He doesn't have the goalie look. He doesn't have that tall stature. Yeah, he doesn't like the DC United goalie. To me, looked like he could play a linebacker position, right, for New England Patriots. He's a beast. But Westberg doesn't have that stature, right? But he definitely had the agility and the perceptional skills to stay on his line. He remained cool and calm, and he was able to make some amazing, incredible saves.
Yeah,
right?
no, Westberg played out of his mind. He played fantastic. He stood on his head between the posts, and that's what you need. You know, everyone always talks about in hockey, you can go as far in the playoffs as long as your goalie gets hot. If Westberg's starting to get hot now, watch out.
Perfect timing, perfect timing.
Especially for New York.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about Wayne Rooney, because it was probably his last game. No, it definitely was his last game in the MLS. He's moving back to England next year. I did not see the Wayne Rooney of old. The old Wayne Rooney, pissed blood and vinegar. Like, this guy was a beast on the field. I watched him play live when he was with Manchester United, and literally I'd have to say he was probably one of the best players of that era, of the Manchester United era. Like, after David Beckham, there's so many great players that came out of Manchester United, but I would definitely say Wayne Rooney was one of them.
He's up there.
Yeah, I agree.
What I saw last night was not the Wayne Rooney of old, and we talked about this. Age catches up with everyone, and I think it was pretty evident.
Derby County is really regretting making him a player and a coach. They're hoping maybe we could just settle for coach, because he better be comfortable subbing his own ass out, because he does not deserve to play on the pitch with these boys anymore.
Yeah, he walked for 90 minutes last week.
He was a non-difference maker. Like, you know what? In my opinion, he was the player of the match for TFC, because we were all so worried about Wayne Rooney, and he did nothing. He flubbed 2 easy chances, chances that most players score, flubbed them, and then he played left back for half the game and did too much.
Which was completely insane, because even a Wayne Rooney not at 100%, I still think with the ball is a threat.
Yeah, 100%.
And we saw that yesterday. He didn't score, but he had the opportunities. So why would he go back and play defense? Made no sense whatsoever, unless he was just tired or he was hurt or something was up. It did not benefit DC United at all, and I did not think that he should have been there. He absolutely should not have been there. If I were the coach, I would not have had him there.
So how do you tell him when he's his own coach next year?
Yeah,
He's going to play where he wants, he's got the role at Derby next year. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But a sad way to see a player like that leave the MLS. I thought he was going to give it his all. He wanted to make a real playoff run. I expected a different Wayne Rooney. I was really disappointed. Not because DC United didn't make it. Obviously, we're TFC fans, but I was disappointed